You've given me money, $5, for 52 months in a row. Okay? 52 months in a row, and you're over here shitting. What does that say about you? Huh? What does that say about you? That you fund this silly man, okay, who laughs at his own bottom of the barrel jokes. It seems like you're laughing too. I'm laughing. You're laughing. We're laughing together. We crowed. Okay? I cried. She cried. We crowed. You're laughing too. You're like, damn, that Hassan did it again. You can also subscribe for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Put me down, gringo. No, I picked your little ass up like this, okay? I picked you like a baby and put you on the town square. Anyway.
Like the middle, religion, you know what? It's like trying to give money to a charity. It's like trying to get the money to the actual people that use it once it goes through the infrastructure is impossible. And that's what I find with, like, if you're going to try to have a relationship with the higher power.
For the 5 gifted, Luke and Master. Thank you for the 5
religion, just inherently, it doesn't make any sense. I feel like your sense of a higher power and that there's something bigger than you is your own personal thing, and that somebody privatized it and turned it into a business and then starts throwing down rules and scaring the shit out of you and telling you if you do this, you do that, all of this shit. They don't know. They have no idea what they're talking about. And now it's a business, and they're making all this money. You make money, you got boats. You got boats, you got money, you got whores. You got whores, you're out there, having a good time. You don't want it to end. So then, I don't know, it all goes away. So I feel like that's my own business. And if all these different groups can make up their own or what the they think's going to happen after you die, why can't I? How come I can't have my own? And I like my because it doesn't involve anybody else. I'm not putting it on anybody. There's no collection basket. There's no pedophiles. There's no getting in bed with the Nazis. And, oh, did we have some of your money? Sorry about that. There's none of that shit. None of that shit. There's no terrorists. There's no 90 virgin. There's none of that shit. None of that shit.
Don't ask how come, why come the pastor have to have him a nice house? Why come pastor got to have a nice car? Don't ask. I said, don't ask. I said, don't ask. No questions.
None of that shit. I don't even know what it is. It's just it's your own thing. You're on your own. Maybe that's what some people, I think they just like the group dynamic. Just to be part of something. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but the Nazi party started with a bake sale, and people just wanted.
This is what I imagine when Hassan pulls up a chatter's comment. It is true. That is literally what it is. Oh my God. I wish I could just like pick you up by your head like that and have your arms flail around and be like, yeah, stop, stop it. But that's literally it. I'm over here like, get over here. Get over here right now. Just pick you up. Come here, chatter. Anyway.
Wanting to be part of a community. Who is Elon Musk dating?
You are the political Bill Burr. An absolute bully, but a well-liked one. No, I'm not like Bill Burr. Bill Burr has, due to the nature of his career, he has developed like tremendous good faith from a lot of groups that unironically will listen to him and go, he's so based and he's so smart and so funny, while simultaneously turn around and yell at me about how much of a hypocritical socialist I am. But that's part of the reason why I love Bill Burr, is because like he has a way of speaking the language. I'll never be able to do that. Our background is different. Our aesthetics are different. You know what I mean? Bill Burr is the guy who appeals to your coworkers. Like your coworkers will listen to Bill Burr and go, "Oh, this is a funny guy. I can see where he's coming from."
Can you imagine his chick when he just sees him go out there and then just watches him start sieg-heiling? Like, oh my God, what is he doing? He's going to burn this whole thing down. I think he just lost his job. Oh, wait a minute. Nothing happened. I cannot believe nothing happened. Nothing happened. How do you explain that away?
Musk posted on X, frankly, they need better dirty tricks. The everyone is Hitler attack is so tired.
How close are you to getting him on the show? Further than ever before.
I saw some guy who was saying gesture truthism and trying to like make it seem like people were saying that he wasn't Sieg Heiling. You go, okay, what was he doing? What was he saying? And then my rockets are gonna get launched and they go that way. Maybe it was taken out of context. You know who would do the Sieg part of the Heil, but not the whole Sieg Heil, was that Celine Dion. It was like she was a Nazi that was stuttering. You know what I mean? She couldn't quite get through it. She would Sieg. She'd like punch herself in the cleavage. Hey, Elon Musk, if you don't mind, we'd like to enjoy our life. I don't think we need to.
Has he ever said where he gets his news from? I hate to admit this, but I think he's a big Jimmy Dore head. He doesn't completely align with him, though, clearly. But I think that he might be like an actual Jimmy Dore guy.
Reboot Adolf Hitler, you lunatic. I'm sorry, pretty girls don't like you until you have $1 billion.
I hope not anymore.
Dude, when he was Sieg Heiling, that looked like one of those crazy Nick Cage movies.
No, he's not. He's just friends with him because Jimmy was a comic before. I thought he would watch a bunch of Jimmy Dore stuff initially.
Like, you ever see that clip when Nick Cage went out and he was like throwing karate kicks?
In my headcanon, he listens, he watches me. In my headcanon, Bill Burr watches the stream with the lovely Nia. They sit down in their jammies. He goes, "How are ya?" And they just watch me on YouTube. They put the YouTube on. That's what, it's just, let me dream, okay? Can I dream? Is that okay? Why is everybody poo-pooing on my dreams? This is my dream.
He was like promoting a movie and he just went out and I don't know what. He was probably towards the end. I don't know. Some people don't know. You do those press junkets, you're going to get asked the same 30 questions like 30 million times. And after a while, you kind of lose your mind. And that's what I love about that clip. I feel like Nick was at the end of his wits there. And he was just, yeah, out there fucking throwing kicks.
I've never seen this clip before. Dude, Bill Burr brings up only the most relevant stuff.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Elon, he has all this money and power and he thought it was going to fill that void and it didn't. And rather than face it in a panic of the profound loneliness. Okay, and I'm coming from an empathetic place here because I experienced that when I took mushrooms. It's a profound sense of loneliness. And then you either face that and figure out where it is, or you just go full Nazi. And go. I feel he's more Mussolini. If I'm to look at his face, I feel he's more Mussolini than he is Hitler. I got to be honest with you. The fact that he did that and everyone isn't outraged is just is beyond me. Because I always felt like this country collectively all agreed that Hitler was not a good person, to put it mildly. And I also think that we all look at World War II as far as the sacrifices that were made and what was prevented was a good thing. I feel like that's the last war that we had where people weren't like, you know, some people like, well, Vietnam, oh, you know, they were stopping the spread of communism. And other people like, no, that was just a whatever, right? But World War II, I was always collectively like, yeah, those were bad people. They needed to be stopped. And the sacrifices that people made was not in vain. That was, without a doubt, a just operation. I thought that's where we all were. And the irony that this asshole was able to make $1 billion in the nation that those kids saved in the 1940s would then turn around and spoon with the person that was killing their fellow soldiers. It's beyond me. It's just beyond me. I don't know. You know what he reminds me of? Like back in the day, like when I was coming up, there was an entire generation of comedians that I was in that was enamored with Bill Hicks. And you'd see these Bill Hicks ripoffs, and they would go on stage and they would have like a leather jacket and they'd be smoking a
Does Bill know Elon's from apartheid South Africa? Yeah, I think Bill, there's no way Bill thinks that Elon is from Germany, right?
cigarette talking about society, man. I feel like he's doing that. I think he's like a recovered nerd, and now he's trying to be like the bad boy. What was that Johnny Depp movie? It was a really good movie. All of it. I like all those movies, but like it was that one. What the f was it called? It was almost like a musical. He was like 1950s Crybaby.
It's crazy when you think about it. It's crazy how hot Johnny Depp used to be.
Maybe or something like that.
Like,
I feel like he's trying to be that
wild.
character. He's trying to be like this bad boy that Kate Moss would date, and I just don't think it's going to happen no matter how much money he has. I think that realization hit him, and he didn't know how to handle it. And then
he's still hot, dumbass. Before people he used to be, he aged like wine. Oh no, the Amber Heard trial I think really bricked a lot of people's brains. Like it is pretty crazy how hard the Amber Heard trial just like created this fissure in most people's collective conscious. Like that, this is what people are. He's an old man, bro. What the do you want from him? First of all, he's not just like any old man. He's a Hollywood old man, okay? So it is kind of shocking that people just talk about like how he's just an old man, dude. Okay. Yeah, so is George Clooney, dude. So is Brad Pitt. I like that we're also talking about Johnny Depp like he's some little guy, you know? He's just a little guy. You guys are he's just a little guy. He's just a little old man. You're being ageist.
in a panic, he went full Third Reich. He went Fourth Reich. He's trying to keep it going. Sorry, I'm laughing about this because I don't know what to do about it. It's terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying. Not that he did it, because there's idiots everywhere. It's that the lack of we need to stop this immediately is beyond disturbing.
Oh, look. Someone hardly touched their pumpkin pie. Want to share it with me?
A partially eaten.
Oh my God, I just realized the Big Bang Theory is responsible for Elon Musk. We gave nerds too much clout. Oh my God. We gave nerds too much clout. America got too used to venerating nerds. Oh my God. It is the Vivek Ramaswamy thing. No, it's not like the fact that he was an Iron Man, chat. That's not what I'm talking about. Not because of Elon Musk's appearance in the Big Bang. It's the Big Bang itself. You're misunderstanding my point. It's the show itself rather than the actual fact that Elon Musk was in the show. Big Bang Theory normalized neurodivergent nerds as like lovable figures, okay? And it made people think that, oh, these people that were bullied their whole lives, they're actually all really nice people. It caused you, okay, it socially conditioned you into thinking that nerds are not capable of being truly evil, abhorrent monsters. It made you think that all nerds, everyone who's neurodivergent is automatically smarter than the average person, and they're automatically like bullied people who actually are always super intelligent and super kind. Okay, they always want what's right. They always want what's just. It's just like the cogs are turning in my mind, okay? The Big Bang Theory, it's the domino meme. Big Bang Theory comes out, Elon Musk is running the country 15 years later. That's what happened. Nobody has the capacity to think that like evil nerds exist. People don't think about nerds as though they are evil, violent monsters sometimes. We think they're all like, oh, it's Sheldon, it's Bazinga. Come on, they're the Sheldon Bazinga guys. They're all lovable losers who just always want to do what's right. Back in the day when the jocks used to run the show, okay, nerds, the position that nerds were in, what was it? Lex Luthor, big old nerd, okay, evil villain. Virtually everyone in a doctor's coat is automatically evil in the 90s, all the way up until the early 2010s, okay? And now we think nerds are nice. Yeah, Dr. Doom. He got a doctorate in genocide, okay? Nerds have historically been on both sides of every conflict, okay? Think about that. You know who else was a doctor? Mengele. I rest my case. It's done. It's over. This is definitely one of the takes of all time. You already know. Dr. Doom doesn't have a doctorate in foreign policy. He's just that good. Yeah. Perhaps Pol Pot was on to something. Okay? He said, no more glasses. You can't see? Well, guess what? To the wall.
Piece of pumpkin pie from a homeless shelter with Elon Musk? You bet I do!
I feel like Bradley Martin would agree to this take. Guys, I wear glasses, okay? Calm down. Also, I am a nerd. That's legit a joke in the Big Bang Theory. They named all the villains with a PhD and said doctoral committee needed to be more selective. You're a big bank liberal. Yeah, as if you aren't a giant dork yourself. It's true.
Hardpoint lockdown.
Gallipoli is a never again attitude from Australians who were forced by the British. Yes, but that's what I thought too. That's how it's taught in Turkey too. And that's the general attitude of a lot of the Australians and New Zealanders that come to Turkey to visit Gallipoli, who have like a relatively positive opinion of Turkish people and also simultaneously think that it was like the fault of the British.
Hi everyone, it's Mike.
This channel has an amazing and really well-produced video on the Troubles and how the revolution remained. Ireland's unfinished revolution. Damn, the Horses channel is pretty good. They make bangers. I didn't know they did one on the Troubles.
The owner, operator, writer of the Horses channel. Just want to do some table setting before this video. Spent the past 2 weeks making literally 20 different cuts of this video, and they were all blocked entirely from being viewed on YouTube. This is because the BBC owns the rights to most of the videos of the Irish Republican Army. The BBC vehemently does not want me to use that footage. The result is this version of my video, which is occasionally punctuated by these messages. If you want an uncensored director's cut, you can find that on the Horses Patreon. Which brings me to my next point. Moving forward, all Horses videos will be posted early, uncensored, and ad-free on Patreon before being put on YouTube. Patrons also get exclusive videos and a 20% off discount code for the Horses store. If you want to support my work, Patreon is a great way to do just that. Check it out at patreon.com/horsespt. Thank you, and hope you enjoy this video. When you think of the IRA, you likely imagine a wave of violence in 20th century Ireland. This is accurate in a sense, but it is a tiny, tiny snapshot of a much larger story. It is a story that spans 300 years. Even the popular term IRA is ambiguous to the point of near meaninglessness. There have been many, many different IRAs throughout this centuries-long conflict. Complex, polarizing, and intensely brutal, this is a story that will provoke very strong opinions. Strong opinions are fine, but they should be informed. So, without further ado, this is the story of the Irish Republican Army. In the early 17th century, the British colonized a region in the northern part of Ireland called Ulster. Catholic Irish tenants and landlords were dispossessed of their lands. These properties were handed over to colonizing Protestants under the direction of King James. So began the harsh division of Protestants and Catholics in Ireland. This fighting went on for almost 2 centuries. It was bloody and brutal. As things continued, the English emerged quite victorious in their oppression and exploitation of the Irish people. But then, in 1791, a man named Wolfe Tone arrived to the picture. Tone, along with a group of fellow Irishmen, believed that the country should put aside its religious differences and unite against its common enemy, the invading British forces. Cohn published a pamphlet advocating for this idea, titled An Argument on Behalf of the Catholics in Ireland. This pamphlet was enormously successful, and after its circulation, societies of United Irishmen began to appear in Ireland's largest cities. These societies sought a complete reform of the legislature, wanting instead a new system of governance based on political and religious liberty. Within Cohn's efforts, we have perhaps the genesis of the first IRA. In 1795, he and some of his fellow United Irishmen proudly declared that they would never stop until they had driven the English from Ireland, until Ireland was a free country. 1798, Cohn led a revolt against the English establishment, which ended in defeat and his own death. His revolt had failed, and with it, England sought to stamp out the Irish independence movement with finality. They did this with the Act of Union in 1800, which destroyed the Irish Parliament entirely. Ireland could no longer legislate for itself in any way. Irish trade and industry were discriminated against and stifled in the interests of the British. Ireland was given no platform for self-advocacy. They had no voice in the new Parliament. Land was given to disinterested or entirely absent English landlords. The Catholic birth rate meant that Ireland's population was booming, but unmaintained land holdings, a lack of education, and ongoing sabotage of the Irish economy by the British meant that Ireland simply could not sustain its population. The now famous famine struck, killing 1 million Irish people. Another million emigrated, mainly to America. Indeed, this Irish-American presence was later proven valuable to the yet established IRA. Aside from...
Yeah, if you want to know what real terror support looks like, there were literally American, Republican, right-wing, Irish politicians that were caught sending arms to the IRA. Okay? Just, you know. Yeah, I guess that was, maybe they misunderstood that that the IRA was also Republican, but a different kind. Yeah, it's like the good version of sending money to Israel. Exactly. It's like the reverse.
Disasters. The Act of Union created new social and political currents within Ireland. One of these was a desire to destroy the Act through the use of armed force. There also arose a desire to politically repeal the Act and establish instead home rule, the idea of a self-governing Ireland. In a sort of dramatic but perhaps predictable irony, England's Act of Union had begun to sow the seeds of dissent.
Archangel making noise.
Enemy using sleeper agent.
Wes Watson was once a legend of the prison YouTube space, uploading authentic stories on how he survived the California prison system and giving the gory details of what goes on inside. However, the fame seems to have gotten to his head after he scammed his audience of thousands while bragging about it, was totally embarrassed by Penguin Zero, and most recently beat a man so much that he may end up back to where he started. Born in 1983 in San Diego, California, Wes grew up in what seems like a typical stoner lifestyle. He was skateboarding, surfing, and smoking weed, all at the age of just 12 years old. And by 14, he was the one selling the plant.
I just like smoking weed. I started smoking weed at like 13 or 12. By the time I was 14 or 15, I was like, this, I need to get this shit for free. So obviously, the natural progression was to start slanging.
According to Wes himself, he quickly moved up the ladder, making more and more money, and quickly progressed into a middleman role, which apparently netted him tens of thousands of dollars every single week.
I'm making about 20 grand, 40 grand a week, blowing it like an idiot, like a fucking kid who just got some money, very low financial maturity. And I go get an Escalade, I put some rims on it. Now I think I'm really doing it because at that time that's what all the rappers had and all the big dogs had.
Bear in mind, this is all coming from Wes himself, who, as we will come to see, is not the most reliable source. Nevertheless, he did seem like he was telling the truth on being a career criminal, as when he was in his 20s, while living in a $1.6 million home and driving the best trucks, he was arrested for a deal gone wrong, which was very well documented. In 2009, a man by the name of Ruben Carvajal owed Wes and his friend money. So according to court documents, Wes attacked Ruben in his motel room, stealing drugs, money, and all of Ruben's belongings. Shortly after this incident, Wes was picked up by the police and thrown into county jail, where he would serve time for almost the next decade, and it wouldn't be a quiet ride. He was apparently caught in multiple riots and prison gang fights, which landed him in solitary confinement for months on end. Wes was heavily involved in prison politics and how he needed to do things to survive in prison, but it was something he learned from, and it allowed him to go on a personal journey of growth and transforming himself, focusing on improving himself through mindfulness, reading, and fitness. And it was during this time he managed to get his hands on a phone and create an Instagram account in 2014, where he decided from then that he wanted to become an influencer and gave his very vain reason.
And you kind of knew that you wanted to be a content creator, or what?
I just saw money on Instagram. I saw money on there. I saw the hashtags. I saw the way the photos were. I saw the positivity. I love being positive. Like, I was negative my whole life. So if I want attention. Like, people like me and you, like, we do what we do because we like attention. We'll be stars and we'll win because we want attention.
So he continued posting all the way up until 2017, when he was finally released from prison and had gained around 10,000 followers on his account, launching his business Watson Fit on the back of these followers. His real fame came from his YouTube channel though, which at the time was under the name of GP Penitentiary Life, and this is a decision which skyrocketed his career. His first video was uploaded in July of 2019, titled "The Time I Almost Lost My Life in Prison," and it currently stands on 760,000 views. The comments were extremely surprising on this video too, with many viewing Wes as a window into what really goes on into the California prison system. This is easily one of the best channels on YouTube. Keep it up, real stories. This positivity wouldn't stick around forever, as we'll come to see, but in 2019, Wes really was one of the biggest channels of the time in the self-help world. His series on prison life gained tens of millions of views on these videos alone, with people shocked at the stories he was coming out with.
And the shit out here when a simple ass, straight up princess tells me that he's having trouble sleeping. Motherfucker, man. Your bed is so comfortable. Your life is so good. You let that shit run a train on your soft ass.
It seems like most of Wes's money has been earned through his fitness brand and his self-help life coaching, which evolved over time alongside his appearance and voice. He started to realize his persona as a rugged ex-con was more valuable than just simply telling stories of what happened in prison, and he hopped on the alpha male wave of the time and ran with it. His videos focused less about his time in prison and started to tell men how to be men, clearly targeting those insecure enough to listen. He boasted on his webpage that his business earns $10 million annually, vlogging inside his Lamborghini and Miami penthouse, all of which he claimed to own. His personality became more of a caricature of himself too. In his old videos, he would remain calm and talk about what seemed like genuine stories, but in more recently uploaded videos, that would be the complete opposite, even getting angry at a man using a leaf blower while he recorded one of his videos.
Here's a good invention for you motherfuckers. Shut! Watch. Here you go. Well, there the fuck you go. 2 minutes of the video wasted. Because these motherfuckers just don't get that it's so fucking annoying to sit there and... There's no possible way that needed to be done at that level. This is fucking Miami. And the shit's everywhere.
Many have attributed his changed voice, aged face, and clear short temper with severe steroid abuse. And his short temper was only going to become more apparent as the months rolled on. In 2023, a huge drama unfolded in the Wes Watson subreddit, and it seems like the first time Wes was exposed as a scammer by his own core fan base. A user by the name of the Dutch Demon exposed how he sought help from Wes, showing messages in which he wants to buy the 3 $3,000 a month life coaching package Wes was selling, showing messages he sent Wes claiming he was basically broke. Wes sensed the desperation in the man's messages and offered him the package for half price, so $1,500 for the month, which is still a total rip-off and a lot of money. The Dutch demon was filled with hope and told Wes that this was the biggest risk he'd ever taken in his life, with Wes selling him the dream of making thousands in a day. Despite being a massive fan of his, Wes clearly didn't care about him at all. Months went by and Wes was dodging every message sent his way, putting off call times and giving no other reason than things got moved around. After getting sick of Wes and disappointed by his service, he asked for his money back, which of course wouldn't happen easily. The Dutch demon was $1,500 down and had nothing to show for it. And after he asked for a refund, he would be ignored yet again for months, leading to the bank issuing a chargeback because Wes and his team ignored them also. It's not clear why he ignored the bank and his refund request, but it certainly left a sour taste in his fans' mouths. I started watching his videos around a year after his channel started, and his advice really changed my life. Time passed and something just didn't seem right with his whole personality, and once he started with all the cars and flashing his wealth, I just felt like he lost touch with who he was at the start, and things were only going to get worse for Wes, as he was totally and utterly embarrassed on stage in front of paying alpha males. In the summer of 2024, Wes started appearing on the Fresh and Fit podcast, which is known for its controversial takes and inflammatory guests, which made Wes and his new persona the perfect guest. After Andrew Wilson called Wes out and asked why he values money so highly, Wes then pressured Andrew, calling him broke, ugly, and fat, all while completely dodging Andrew's original question and struggling to string a coherent sentence together that wasn't filled with insults.
Prove a person's life.
Are you proud of who the fuck you are?
Why
Look at, are you proud? If you look in the mirror, would you guys say this motherfucker proud of who the fuck he is? That's a bag of trash, dude. Pull your fucking shirt
Because
off.
I've been.
Tell me you're fucking proud.
Because
of
I've been to fucking prison.
Jesus Christ!
Because
look
I've been
at
to
you,
prison.
bro. You got 10-inch arms and tits. Men don't have tits.
Andrew did fight back where he accused Wes of being in prison, which will be important later, but this only escalated tensions between the pair on stage.
No, they go to prison where they get ass.
You've never been to prison. Look,
That's what
happens.
happens.
You don't know.
They go to prison where they get.
You get your ass beat in front of
You think that that's better? You think that that's better? Do you have children?
I do have children.
How many?
I have 2.
Are you saying that your Bugatti and your money and everything else is worth more than your children?
My dad's a superhero. Look what he brought to the table. Look how hard this guy works. He came from nothing to this.
Yeah.
He works Casey. God damn it.
You're still whining. Stop whining.
That is a product. I'll smack your fat.
So you're gonna attack. You're gonna attack.
Wes getting pegged and threatening to attack someone is something that'll become very real later on in the story. But for now, his fans were starting to get extremely tired of his behavior and started to question how much money he was actually making. Multiple Reddit threads started to crop up which exposed Wes's rendered lifestyle, namely his $30 million mansion in San Diego. After he did a house tour, someone on Reddit shared the Zillow listing for his property, which showed that he was paying $80,000 a month in rent for it. And things get worse for him too, as it was about to be exposed that his renting habits stretched further than just homes, as another Redditor exposed him for renting his girlfriend, calling him the definition of a cook. And his problems with women wouldn't end here, as this escort would end up leaving Wes, with some shocking allegations coming out about the reasons why, and it may have something to do with his experiences in prison. YouTuber and professional Wes Watson hater John Bravo put out a video titled "Wes Watson and Big Boy Suffer Nuclear Meltdown" and revealed something many people have suspected all along.
You remember her with the big fucking lips? Well, she got tired of all the bullshit too. She got tired of him. She got tired of having
John Bravo revealed that Wes Watson, the alpha male super king, gets by his girlfriend, all revealed by his ex-wife, who also used to do that to Wes. At this point, Wes was being constantly roasted online for being for his rented house and girlfriend, and also his cute purse which he carries around with him.
And so this purse-carrying, peg-taking, people-pleasing ass, well, he's the kind of guy that likes to exit, to pull out and finish all over himself, aka on his stomach.
And it doesn't just end here, as Wes has even reached the fitness bubble and reached the king of call-outs, Penguin Zero, who made a video on Wes and how he is getting gadooshed or roasted constantly online, and pointed out just how hilarious his situation is.
Do you even realize how lucky you are to be able to just sit here in peace while there's others out there struggling by getting gadooshed every day? You ever stop to think about those people? And by the people, I mean that one guy, Wes Watson.
Imagine this stud, this ringleader of Reddit reviewers who gadoosh me. Oh my God, no bro, I was too busy making millions of dollars and not knowing who you are at all while you were gadooshing yourself about me.
I just love it. I absolutely love it. It kind of reminds me of like that old cartoon gag that they do all the time where a character will step on a rake and it hits him in the face. They turn around, step on another rake, it hits him in the face, and it just goes back and forth a couple times. That's Wes Watson with gadooshing. He is just constantly getting big time gadooshed. And he pretends to play it off like he doesn't care, but he's the guy who cares the most in the world.
At this point, we are desperate for any news we can find that isn't about the South African ketamine addict who has been taking an axe to the U.S. government on a daily basis for the better part of a month. Ugh. Mainly because our thumbnails could really use a break from having to feature his pale rictus of a face. We have prayed, and God has answered with some truly biblical news that's very relevant to our interests and yours. Whales are back in the news this week. Oh, good. In a big way. With a reminder that they might not be sharks, but they're still terrifying. And yes, the bulk of this episode is still sadly devoted to the endless, constant, dumb bullshit from our new president's administration. But let's start with a story straight out of the Old Testament. The fun one. About a guy getting swallowed by a damn whale.
Where's my lighter? I need to light a candle. That's the only way out.
Oh, jeez. I'm inside a whale's stomach.
And they even got it on video, which, just to be safe, we're showing frame by frame here, but you can find it very easily just by searching kayaker swallowed by whale or looking at the links down in the description, as always. It's the kind of thing the victim is probably glad was caught on video, because otherwise it would be very difficult to believe.
Okay, buddy.
Yeah, a lot of guys been eaten by whales. All right, he's just trying to get a free drink. He's fine, by the way. We probably should have said that first instead of making fun of him.
He did not die. He was not swallowed and then subsequently pooped out by a whale.
But here's the BBC with the full story. The first thing kayaker Adrian Simankos noticed after he was eaten by a whale was the slime. I spent a second realizing I was inside the mouth of something, that maybe it had eaten me, that it could have been an orca or a sea monster, the 23-year-old told BBC Mundo. Adrian had started to think how he might survive inside the humpback whale like Pinocchio. Then the creature spat him back out. I guess I'm not good enough for you.
I was already making plans for my new life, living inside the whale.
Yeah, but I guess I taste disgusting. Sure. The Venezuelan kayaker had been paddling through the Strait of Magellan off Chile's Patagonian coast with his father when he felt something hit me from behind, closing in on me and sinking me. His father, Dahl, was able to capture the short-lived ordeal on video just meters away, which is also very funny. Like, because you can't do anything.
Yeah.
It's horrific because you're just like, well, I guess the only thing I can do is film.
Well, the funny part is that the camera was mounted to his kayak.
Oh, he couldn't.
He was facing the other way.
So he had to paddle really quickly to turn it to.
He didn't even see it happen.
Wow.
But the camera did.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, it's probably better that he didn't see it.
Yeah. He's got the footage, and that's priceless. I closed my eyes, and when I opened them again, I realized I was inside the whale's mouth, Adrian told the BBC. I felt a slimy texture brush my face, he recalled, adding that all he could see was dark blue and white. I wondered what I could do if it had swallowed me, since I could no longer fight to stop it, he said. I had to think about what to do next. But within seconds, Adrian started to feel as though he was rising toward the surface. I was a little afraid of whether I would be able to hold my breath because I didn't know how deep I was, and I felt like it took me a long time to come up. I went up for 2 seconds, and finally I got to the surface and realized that it hadn't eaten me. For Adrian, the experience was not just about survival, but he felt he had received a second chance when the whale spat him out. the unique experience in one of the most extreme places on Earth had invited me to reflect on what I could have done better up until that point, and on the ways I can take advantage of the experience and appreciate it as well, he added. But there's a simple reason he was able to escape the whale so quickly, according to a wildlife expert. Humpback whales have narrow throats, about the size of a household pipe, designed for swallowing small fish and shrimp. Brazilian conservationist Rochelle Jacobson Seba told the BBC, they physically cannot swallow large objects like kayaks, tires, or even big fish like tuna, he said. Ultimately, the whale spit out the kayak because it was physically impossible to swallow.
Which is good to know.
Big mouth, tiny holes, tiny throat.
Yeah. Good to know. And honestly, a brush with death could do everyone a lot of good. I think that if you put yourself in a situation where you could get eaten by a humpback whale, knowing that it is impossible, maybe that would be enough to scare you straight.
Yeah.
So
it's
also quite a story. I was spit out by a giant whale.
I mean, that happens to you, and you can divide your life up in 2 sections.
Yeah, before and after the whale.
Before and after that whale swallowed me in its mouth and then spit me out.
To be fair, way better outcome than the whale jumping and landing on you.
Yeah, that's a lot scarier.
Yeah. You're in the whale's mouth. You don't want to be there. He doesn't want you in there. It's all going to be over soon. Just wait it out. Yeah. Well, yeah. So it is good to know if you ever end up fully enclosed in the mouth of a whale the size of a school bus, there's no need to worry, silly. What are you freaking out for? Calm down. He couldn't swallow you even if he wanted to. As for why it would try to, well, it obviously didn't. He's just there. That's my water. What are you doing to my water? Much like that time a little while back when a gigantic whale breached and landed on a fishing boat, it was a big oopsie on the whale's part. The whale was hoping for a mouthful of fish or plankton or whatever, and this poor bastard just happened to be in the way. It's horribly bad luck, but such bad luck that it's almost good luck. Getting struck by lightning is rare, but getting swallowed by a whale is an even more exclusive club. And less painful, at least for this guy. Just really slimy and gross.
Yeah, that tongue, that big tongue of theirs.
He's gonna be like, it was so good for my skin. I'm never gonna get that beautiful sheen like I had after I got out of that whale's mouth.
Swallow me again, I need it. Yeah, I'm ashy.
Yeah. But speaking of slimy, it's time to check in on a character that we haven't heard from much lately. Donald Trump Jr., who for this go-around has mostly been on the sidelines as he works in the private sector. He's apparently so out of the loop on things this time around that he shared a meme this week featuring Mark Zuckerberg's face among a collage of enemies of MAGA like George Soros and Anthony Fauci, despite Zuckerberg's various pathetic overtures to Trump in the past few months.
He missed the memo.
Yeah, he was there. He was there on Inauguration Day.
People in the comments were like, wait, I thought Mark was on our side now.
You might not have recognized him because of his new drip.
Yeah, that's old Mark. Old Mark, dork Mark.
That's before the whale.
But Dominican Mark he's MAGA.
He's on island time. Yeah. So.
But in his defense, Don Jr. has been very busy in his new career advising a gambling company that lets you bet on basically anything, including U.S. politics, which, I don't know, seems like a massive conflict of interest, but those don't matter anymore.
Even back in the beginning of January, that company did finally revert the you can bet on the LA fires thing because, yeah, when you open up betting to literally everything, corruption and intentional terrorism can happen.
It's just real degenerate shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is not, I mean, maybe this is what some people are starting on now, but it feels like the kind of thing that you only move to once you've been like banned from a couple casinos and a couple, you've been like rate limited on the poker apps and sports betting apps. Like, fuck it, I'll bet on anything. Just give me something to bet on. I have a disease.
Well, now you can bet on politics, which the son of the president is in charge of the company that is going to allow you to do that. Which
I'm sure Don Jr. is recusing himself from any bets,
just like Elon
involving things that his father will do. So this story isn't about politics, though. It's a throwback to an ongoing subplot that we haven't heard much about in a while, but it's still happening. The Enhanced Games, aka the Steroid Olympics.
In fact, I would assume it's even more happening now.
Oh, it's fucking on.
Yeah.
Letting athletes take as many performance enhancers as they want and just seeing what happens is a classic dumb guy idea that you hear at 3 a.m. on your couch after you get home from the bars. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be crazy? And we're living in a dumb guy renaissance with Don Jr. among the dumb guy elite. So this story is no big surprise, really. Here's Newsweek. President Donald Trump's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., is the latest to invest in the Enhanced Games, which critics call the steroid Olympics. The Enhanced Games would allow natural athletes and athletes who use legal performance-enhancing drugs to compete against each other in the hope of breaking world records.
The Enhanced Games announced on Thursday that they have received a multi-million-dollar investment co-led by 1789 Capital, founded by Omid Malik and Christopher Buskirk, and where Trump Jr. serves as a partner. The Enhanced Games called the investment a monumental step forward in a press release. The investment is important, of course, but what is more important is the validation of Donald Trump Jr., who's obviously a leading member of the Trump MAGA Make America Great Again movement, and how that validates what we're doing. Dr. Aaron D'Souza, founder and president of the Enhanced Games, told Newsweek via video chat on Thursday, "The Enhanced Games are disruptive. They're thought-provoking. It's challenging norms, which is very much aligned with everything the president and this new American golden age is about." Trump Jr. said in the Enhanced Games press release, "The Enhanced Games represent the future, real competition, real freedom, and real records being smashed. This is about excellence, innovation, and American dominance on the world stage. Something the MAGA movement is all about." Odd that we'd have to be performance-enhanced to dominate. We're the best at doing drugs to blow our muscles up to comical proportions. The Enhanced Games are going to be huge, and I couldn't be prouder to support this movement that is changing sports forever. And all the betting that's going to happen, that's just a very convenient, nice to have side plot to all of this.
The gambling.
Yes.
The beautiful gambling.
Ah, yes, the gambling.
I wonder if they're going to have, like, hunting as a category, because that's his favorite hobby. And
as long as the athletes come out and stay completely still.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, like how could they make hunting an enhanced game? Well, you got to stay awake. You got to stay up in that perch. Oh. Not pooping or pissing, just doing rails of cocaine.
I went the other way. I thought Don Jr. was going to hunt the athletes.
Oh.
That would make it more interesting, and you have to be enhanced.
Yeah, he's enhanced. He is enhanced.
He's constantly enhanced. That's why he's so amped on this.
Very enhanced.
Yeah. He's out there breaking his own records.
Mm-hmm. So the first enhanced game is supposedly happening by the end of this year, but we will see. They want to make it an annual event, but it seems like the novelty of this sort of thing would wear off pretty quickly. There's also the fact that any athlete participating in it risks not only their reputation, but also their ability to compete in any non-enhanced competitions ever again. So it's not like the actual best athletes are going to be competing, just the most roided out ones. The ones with nothing to lose.
Yeah, it's not great. People are going to get very hurt. It's essentially very close to the XFL, where it's like you're not in the, you did all the work, but you didn't make it into the NFL, or maybe you were in there for a season or so. But we have a new exciting league just for you. And by the way, less rules. You just go nuts.
Less rules, but like there's still rules. These.
Yeah, and that's the thing is you can't compete elsewhere ever again.
No.
But do you think that there will be, I don't want to say jealousy is the word, but like when you see these enhanced quote-unquote athletes start putting up numbers, and they're like, yeah, I got the world record. Pretty cool, huh? And like nobody acknowledges that in the real sport.
Right.
But seeing like some record that is only beaten because the guy's clearly on drugs, and you're a traditional athlete who's trained his entire life, maybe it'll make them more motivated to actually.
Maybe a few, but I think most of them are just going to be like, okay, well, that's not a real record. So,
yeah, true.
Who cares?
Yeah.
But moving on now to the politics part of the episode, starting with some updates to one of the most transparently corrupt subplots of the past week or so. Trump's DOJ dropping the rock-solid corruption case against New York Mayor Eric Adams in exchange for Adams just doing Trump's bidding.
Yeah.
Now, last we checked, the situation was shaping up to be a present-day version of the Nixon-era Saturday Night Massacre, when a bunch of DOJ officials were fired or resigned for refusing to put a stop to the Watergate investigation. In this case, a string of DOJ officials have decided to just quit and preserve their professional dignity rather than be complicit in this blatant corruption and be tainted by it for the rest of their careers and lives.
First, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York resigned rather than obeying the order. Then it was passed on to the DOJ's Public Integrity Unit, and 5 more DOJ lawyers resigned. Now, on Friday, there was yet another resignation. Here's the New York Times. Hagan Scotton, the lead prosecutor on the federal corruption case against Mayor Eric Adams of New York City, resigned after Justice Department officials ordered the dismissal of charges he had helped bring, suggesting that only a fool or a coward would obey. In an undated, scathing resignation letter, Mr. Scotton wrote that any federal prosecutor would know that our laws and traditions do not allow using the prosecutorial power to influence other citizens, much less elected officials. He added, "If no lawyer within earshot of the president is willing to give him that advice, then I expect you will eventually find someone who is enough of a fool or enough of a coward to file your motion. But it was never going to be me." Couldn't be me. Damn. Mr. Scotton was responding to a Justice Department official's directive this week to dismiss the bribery, fraud, and other charges against Mr. Adams so the mayor could help with President Trump's immigration crackdown. They just keep putting it in everything.
Yeah, that's why they're doing it, by the way.
He had a meeting with ICE this morning, by the way, on his way out.
Yeah, it's like they're not even pretending it's about anything else. Like, there's no, like, pretext or pretense, like, oh, well, no, it's just like, we need him to do some shit for us, and this is the way to ensure that he does it.
Even more obviously, they had Eric Adams with another member of, I can't remember who it was, but another member of the Trump administration on the morning, like the Fox and Friends and stuff like that.
Was it Tom Homan?
Yes. The immigration guy.
That baked ham?
Yes, that guy was bringing the New York City Mayor, Eric Adams, on the cable news shows to be like, yeah, he's on our side now. Hey, tell him what we told you to say, Eric.
They fucking own him, and it would be, I feel like any normal person would be like, all right, fine, just put me in prison. But Eric, you know, that person would have shame and principles, and Eric Adams has none of those things.
No.
It continues. The official, Emil Bove III, who is the acting Deputy Attorney General, gave the order to Danielle R. Sassoon, the acting U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. She resigned on Thursday rather than carry out the order to seek dismissal of the charges against Mr. Adams. Ms. Sassoon, 38, a veteran Southern District prosecutor, was elevated last month by the Trump administration to lead the office. At the time, she and Mr. Scotton were co-chiefs of the office's Criminal Appeals Unit. Mr. Scotton served 3 combat tours in Iraq as a U.S. Army Special Forces officer and earned 2 Bronze Stars. He graduated from Harvard Law School and clerked for Chief Justice John G. Roberts, Jr. of the U.S. Supreme Court and for Brett M. Kavanaugh before he, too, became a Supreme Court justice. Mr. Scotton had led the investigation into Mr. Adams since it began in the summer of 2021. It resulted in an indictment that was announced in September by a previous U.S. Attorney, Damian Williams, an appointee of President Joseph R. Biden, Jr. In a hearing in October, Mr. Scotton said in court that additional charges could be brought and additional defendants charged. So they had a case. Well, they had a pretty strong case, and it was about to get even stronger.
You know what's better than a good case, though? A lot of leverage on a powerful politician.
A mayor that will, of the biggest city in the country, that will do whatever you fucking tell him to.
Yeah, and he has to, or else his freedom is taken away from him.
Yeah, because they can bring the case back.
He will go to
anytime they want.
If this was able to proceed, he probably would go behind bars.
Yeah, it's a bad deal, and like, especially with
It's
Trump.
a bad deal for him too, because once he's not in power, like.
Yeah.
Well, let's make that happen sooner rather than later, people of New York. Let's vote him out.
Yeah, the primary's in June, I think. Get rid of him.
But during the Watergate scandal, eventually Nixon was able to find someone willing to sign off on all of his blatant corruption. That was Robert Bork. And since then, Bork has been a verb. And it was only a matter of time until someone borked this case. Here's Reuters. Federal prosecutors on Friday formally asked a U.S. judge to drop bribery charges against New York Mayor Eric Adams after an order by an official in President Donald Trump's Justice Department for them to do so prompted mass resignation. U.S. District Judge Dale Ho still must sign off on the request to dismiss the 5-count criminal indictment brought last September charging Adams, a Democrat, with accepting travel perks from Turkish officials and political donations from foreigners in exchange for taking actions to benefit Turkey. Adams had pleaded not guilty. Federal prosecutors in Washington stepped in to make the filing on behalf of their New York counterparts on Friday. They said continuing the case would, quote, interfere with the defendant's ability to govern in New York City, which poses unacceptable threats to public safety, national security, and related federal immigration initiatives and policies. The filing was signed by Antoinette Bacon, a supervisory official in the Justice Department's Criminal Division, and Edward Sullivan, senior litigation counsel in the Public Integrity section. Public Integrity. Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove separately signed the filing saying he authorized the request. Don't worry, Public Integrity is all over.
The integrity squad is on it, making sure that integrity is being upheld. Emil Bove, by the way, might be the most haggard-looking millennial on Earth. Like, you look at this man's face, and you're like, that guy's 60 years old. But he is a millennial. He was born in, like, 1982.
Yeah.
It ages you.
We're getting old. Well, not we. Everyone else. All the mean people.
He's getting old. I'm staying the same age.
Yeah.
He's also clearly got no principles whatsoever, just from this story alone. And that extends beyond just the Eric Adams case. Here's NPR. After a mob of Donald Trump supporters violently stormed the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, Emil Bove led efforts by federal prosecutors in Manhattan to help the FBI aggressively investigate, identify, and arrest rioters from the New York region. 4 years later, Bove is now the acting #2 official in President Trump's Justice Department. He has used that perch to denounce the Capitol riot investigation and spearhead a purge of prosecutors and potentially of FBI agents who worked on January 6 cases. The disconnect between Bove's aggressive stance to hold rioters accountable for the January 6th assault and his current hostility around the investigation has troubled some former colleagues. At no point did I ever hear him or anybody else express concern about these investigations and these arrests that they were making, said Christopher O'Leary, who was a top counterterrorism official in the FBI's New York field office at the time. We never heard any pushback from him or anybody in his office.
When the January 6th attack happened, Bove was the co-chief of the Terrorism and International Narcotics Unit at the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York. In that role, he helped supervise all of the office's work related to the Capitol attack, directing prosecutors to support the FBI in the investigation and overseeing efforts to obtain things like search warrants, according to O'Leary and a former prosecutor who worked with Bove. Like O'Leary, the former prosecutor said Bove never voiced any reservations about the riot investigation. To the contrary, the former prosecutor said Bove gave strong, direct encouragement to the line prosecutors to aggressively pursue the investigation, legal process, support FBI, etc. So, yeah, the guy currently purging the federal government of anyone who just did their fucking jobs investigating January 6th was himself involved in investigating and prosecuting January 6th rioters. So, there you go.
Well, it's different because now I'm in...
He has shined the shoes. He's kissed the ring.
Me good, you bad.
Yes. No, my ideology is different. You don't understand.
I've evolved.
Much like J.D. Vance.
I've seen the light.
Yes. I've taken the Vance. But moving on now to another dumb subplot from the past couple of weeks. The Gulf of Mexico being officially renamed the Gulf of America. On its surface, it's pretty trivial compared to everything else, but it's still a tactic to make people fall in line. And the Associated Press found that out the hard way this week when they were banned from the White House for continuing to call it the Gulf of Mexico in their reporting, which is accurate. Here's the AP with some very meta journalism.
Yeah. The White House said Wednesday that news organizations that refused to use President Donald Trump's new name for the Gulf of Mexico were telling lies.
Telling lies.
No, papa. And insisted it would continue to bar Associated Press journalists from presidential events. Trump has decreed that the international body of water, which borders Mexico, the United States, and other nations, be called the Gulf of America. In its influential style book, the AP said it would continue to use Gulf of Mexico, while also noting Trump's decision to ensure that names of geographical features are recognizable around the world. The White House's outright attempt at regulating language used by independent media and the punitive measures attached to it mark a sharp escalation in Trump's often fraught dealings with news organizations. At a regular briefing Wednesday, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that it is a fact that the body of water off the coast of Louisiana is called the Gulf of America, and I'm not sure why news outlets don't want to call it that. In reality, the body lies partially in waters that don't belong to the United States and has been called the Gulf of Mexico for hundreds of years.
Yeah. It's very dumb. It's very petty. But it's at least nice to see a press outlet take a stand like this, no matter how trivial it might seem. Also, this is particularly maddening because, like, the Associated Press, of all of the people that could be in the room, is doing the most standard basic journalism and news reports and spreading it internationally, where internationally everyone still refers to it accurately as the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, they're a wire service, so like their reporting gets picked up by outlets around the world.
Yeah.
In other countries when they're covering U.S. news, instead of, if they don't have a reporter of their own in the U.S. covering it, they'll just buy the license the AP's coverage of it.
Yeah.
It's also like a ton of like local newspapers.
They all use it.
They use the AP because they can't actually employ like the fucking workforce to cover
Yeah, you
everything.
don't have a guy from like Tempe, Arizona at the White House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this is just dumb.
Yeah. Moving on now to your daily dose of Doge.
Ew.
Elon Musk and his Gooner squad have been very, very busy this week. And on Friday night, we learned that Elon's quest to eviscerate the federal government has not gotten in the way of his other favorite hobby, impregnating women.
He's a breeder.
Here's the Daily Beast. Ashley St. Clair, a 26-year-old right-wing influencer, contributor to conservative satirical news site The Babylon Bee, and semi-regular guest on Fox News, took to X late Friday night to claim that she recently had a child with Elon Musk. She wrote, 5 months ago, I welcomed a new baby into the world. Elon Musk is the father. I have not previously disclosed this to protect our child's privacy and safety. But in recent days, it has become clear that tabloid media intends to do so, regardless of the harm it will cause. St. Clair ended her statement with a request for the media to honor their child's privacy and refrain from invasive reporting. The statement was accompanied by a Latin phrase, alia iacta est, which means the die is cast. It is unclear which media outlet or story prompted St. Clair to publish her statement.
Conservative figures like Jack Posobiec, his wife Tanya Tay, Mike Cernovich, and Candace Owens all sent St. Clair their support via X.
They love a wife. They love a child out of wedlock, don't they, folks? As conservative Christians.
Children should always be off limits, wrote right-wing commentator Owens, who has long been plagued by accusations of anti-Semitism, before adding, "Journalists are parasites."
Okay.
In response to Cernovich's comment that there is no low that they, the media, won't go to, St. Clair responded, "Doxing a baby is pretty bottom of the barrel." Doxing a baby.
Doxing a baby.
Musk, who has yet to confirm St. Clair's news, is already a father of 12 children with 3 women. The Doge director has 6 children with his first wife, Justine, 3 with musician Grimes, and 3 with former Neuralink director of operations, Siobhan Zillis, the youngest of whom was born in June 2024. In addition, internet sleuths have found a tweet from Musk to St. Clair sent in response to a November 2023 tweet in which she said, "Stopping birth control and Adderall was one of the best things I ever did for my mental health. So many Americans on pharmaceutical cocktails and then wondering why they feel out of their minds." Musk's response was a simple, "For sure."
Now, the question on my mind and everyone's mind is...
Did they?
Did they?
I feel like no. Yeah, I think he's the one guy, like, say what you will about Nick Cannon, at least that dude's, like, nutting inside women. Like,
maybe it's better that he isn't, I guess.
Yeah,
he isn't.
It's just weird, like, because we talked about this. There was that story, like, he'll be at, like, a dinner party and be like, "Does anyone need any sperm? I'd love to lend you some sperm."
But there's definitely, and I'm not saying that she did or didn't, but, like, you would think right-wing influencer would maybe find him attractive.
Maybe.
To the point where it should be like, no, let's do this the old-fashioned way.
There's someone for everyone.
Let's take these Demolition Man VR helmets off.
Yeah.
And let's get physical.
It is very funny though, like doxing. You've doxed a baby. Like their definition of doxing is utterly meaningless.
No, if an article was even going to come out, it would have been Elon Musk impregnates right-wing Fox News.
Like it's absolutely newsworthy.
Yeah. He's the president of the country.
Yeah, he's a very important figure, and he also has a pattern of having a fuckload of kids. It's newsworthy, and it's not doxing a baby, because you can't dox a baby, to acknowledge that baby's existence and who its parents are.
When the president's manager, Elon Musk, has a baby, it is news regardless.
And also apparently a lot of right-wingers on X are they're torn about this because of the wedlock situation.
Well, good news.
So we're supposed to be happy about a single mother having a baby without the baby daddy being in her life? Okay.
Wow. Your first contradictory thought? Well, buckle up, bud.
I'm going to just stash that thought away.
Anyways, that baby will soon be old enough to join its father's Doge team in taking a wrecking ball to the federal government, though there may not be anything left to destroy by then.
Yeah.
The list of government agencies being gutted continues to grow, and it's pretty obvious at this point that it has very little to do with government efficiency. For example, we discussed this week's Doge assault on the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which was created in the aftermath of the financial crisis to stop banks from ripping off average Americans, and has recovered more money for consumers than it costs to operate. but they're a potential roadblock to X becoming a payments app. So they got to go. And not only that, it's got to be like they never existed in the first place because the precedent alone is bad.
Erased, deleted.
Here's The Verge. Nearly 400 videos that were posted on the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's YouTube page have been removed as the Trump administration continues to pare back the agency, including its team of skilled technologists. The CFPB YouTube page, which has 15,000 subscribers and was created in 2011, has had every one of its videos removed as of Friday. An archived version of the page shows that as recently as February 8th, it hosted 386 videos. The archived page shows videos with titles like 5 tips for when you can't pay your bills, how do I dispute an error on my credit report, and how can I improve my credit scores? Facebook and X accounts for the agency have also been taken down, although it's unclear when. The homepage of the CFPB website delivers a 404 error message, though other pages on the site are still active.
Okay, so if you're wondering how taking down a huge library of already produced videos promoting financial literacy makes the government more efficient, it doesn't!
Surprise!
It's just destruction for destruction's sake.
Also, you being dumber about your finances helps all of them.
Yeah, it is actually to their benefit if you don't know how to dispute improper charges.
Much like deleting, getting rid of the finally launched government-free tax filing service.
Yeah, that was too easy for you guys. And also, like, our buddies down at TurboTax and H&R Block, they didn't like that existed.
Intuit just built a new stadium down by the airport. They need a little bit more money, so...
Yeah, it's not the IRS stadium, it's the Intuit stadium.
Yeah, that's right.
Here's something even more destructive than that, and honestly pretty scary, from CBS News. Half of the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention's Epidemic Intelligence Service officers, a group known as the CDC's disease detectives, were among the cuts made Friday by the Trump administration, multiple health officials tell CBS News. The cuts are among the thousands of probationary workers being let go this week across the federal government as part of efforts to shrink the federal workforce overseen by President Trump and the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, task force headed by billionaire Elon Musk. The CDC's Epidemic Intelligence Service, or EIS, officers are hired in annual classes through a competitive process. As part of the fellowship, they serve for 2 years around the CDC or deployed to health departments across the country, often on the front lines of public health responses. Many go on to rise through the ranks at the agency after being selected for the program. All of the most recent classes of hires to serve in the EIS were told Friday they were among the cuts, officials told CBS News. The country is less safe. These are the deployable assets critical for investigating new threats from anthrax to Zika, said Dr. Ann Schuchat, a former top-ranking CDC official and alumna of the program, in a message.
So that's cool. There's also, like, bird flu right now.
Yeah.
So
bird flu and, with no one vaccinating their fucking kids, there's always all the old school diseases. They pop up here and there. And, usually the CDC, they're on it. They're on it. They don't want that shit to spread because that's bad. And it's just bad for business.
Also, going back to just dismantling the Department of Education as well, a big reason why so many children are actually vaccinated is because they need that to get into public school. So you're not going to really need to vaccinate all those kids if they're all going to their voucher schools that their parents love that don't vaccinate. It doesn't bode well for the future. It makes me very upset.
Yeah, this and then the FDA, all the stuff with
there's so much safe destroyed that it's hard to focus on one because everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
So that's cool, and it is also great news for mental health. The next time there's a disease epidemic, we won't have to deal with all the worry of even knowing that it's happening, and it won't be a cover-up because even the government won't know about it.
Yeah. Just let it kill you.
Yeah, just like those naughty test scores. America's test scores are bad. Let's get into the American test score analyzing company.
Yeah, no tests, no problem.
But in other unsettling news, DOGE this week also targeted the Department of Energy, which manages the U.S. Our nuclear weapons. Sudden mass layoffs at a department that handles some extremely sensitive work seems reckless and bad. And it's also, once again, an example of how DOGE is playing out almost exactly like Elon's takeover of Twitter. Here's NBC News. National Nuclear Security Administration officials on Friday attempted to notify some employees who had been let go the day before that they are now due to be reinstated. But they struggled to find them because they didn't have their new contact information. In an email sent to employees at NNSA and obtained by NBC News, officials wrote, "The termination letters for some NNSA probationary employees are being rescinded, but we do not have a good way to get in touch with those personnel. The individuals the letter refers to had been fired on Thursday and lost access to their federal government email accounts. NNSA, which is within the Department of Energy and oversees the nation's nuclear stockpile, cannot reach these employees directly and is now asking recipients of the email, please work with your supervisors to send this information, once you get it, to people's personal contact emails. The NNSA is tasked with designing, building, and overseeing the U.S. nuclear weapons stockpile. The termination notices, which read, effective today, came within hours of a Russian drone striking the Chernobyl power plant in Ukraine. NNSA tracks nuclear risks in Ukraine, including through sensor systems.
So yeah, they just fired a bunch of people, and then the people actually working there were like, no, please come back, please come back. Same thing happened with Twitter. They fired a bunch of the engineers, and they're like, fuck. Does anyone know how to work this thing? Oh, we fired everyone who does? I got to make some calls.
This is part of Elon's plan where he's like, oh, we'll just quickly put back everything that broke. And this is how it happens. It doesn't actually do that. Once you dismantle something, it's very hard to put it back.
Yeah, and just like, I don't know. I mean, all of these government agencies have been
taken the lead.
Pretty sensitive, and you'd want to take some care with them. But the Department of Energy in particular seems like something you'd want to be real careful about, and not just come in and say, like, we're lowering headcount by 50%.
Do it.
Figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
Today. Effective today.
Yeah.
It's, yeah. Those are our nukes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like that we have so many of them, but I would like to think that people looking at them, watching over them, know what they're doing them, and aren't spread too thin, and so on.
Yeah.
Anyway, very efficient stuff, Elon. And rounding things out, it should come as no surprise that by the end of the week, Doge was targeting NASA. Now, Elon owns SpaceX, which has billions of dollars in contracts with NASA, so, surely he will recuse himself and the multiple Doge lackeys with SpaceX connections from this efficiency audit due to the blatant conflicts of interest.
He promised. He promised he would.
Yeah.
He said so.
If there's any government department where he has a conflict of interest, it would be the space agency that, he works with.
Yeah, he couldn't even
with his rocket company.
He couldn't even come up with an excuse to deny them. I mean, it's right there.
It's right there. So I guess we'll find out in a few days whether he's absolutely full of shit on his conflicts of interest or not. I'm leaning one way on it. Anyway, for some insider insight into how this Doge bullshit has played out, here's Rolling Stone. When security officials at several departments and agencies have responded that they need to check to ensure these young Musk allies have proper clearance to view sensitive databases, Doge staff have routinely erupted in fury. Some have told these security officials that if they don't give them what they want immediately, they'll call Musk's cell phone and give him the officials' names.
Mods.
And have the richest man in the world call and yell at them, or get them reprimanded or fired. Do I need to call Elon? One Doge member barked at a federal security official while demanding access to sensitive information at one agency this month. A source familiar with the exchange tells Rolling Stone. This has happened repeatedly since the dawn of the second Trump administration. At the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, the Treasury Department, at the Office of Personnel Management, and elsewhere. It has become a cruel punchline within the federal bureaucracy. Four sources familiar with the matter tell Rolling Stone that some child from the Doge team will threaten to call Elon Musk if you don't do what the child wants, as one federal career official describes it.
And then they let him through and the kid goes,
I'm gonna tell Elon.
Mods!
Elon!
Dude, that finally came to...
Elon!
It really came to reality.
Fuck!
So obviously all very efficient stuff. The United States is in great hands.
Little hands, not any lines.
No.
Smooth hands.
They were once little hands, and now they have big South African hands guiding them.
That's right.
Yes.
Big, the palest, the whitest hands you've ever seen.
Yeah. But it's time now to move on to the headlines half of this show. But first, we got to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Public Rec, the makers of our favorite pants in the world, the Daymaker pants. The perfect intersection of comfort and quality.
I'm literally wearing mine right now.
They look great.
Best pants ever.
Let's be real, guys. Wearing uncomfortable clothes just isn't worth it anymore. Why settle for stiff, restricting fabric when you can have something that looks sharp and feels as comfy as your favorite sweats? Well, that's where Public Rec comes in. These pants are a game changer. The pants are designed to be as comfy as your favorite sweats, but way more stylish. We're talking super soft fabric, no stiff seams, and enough stretch to keep up with you whatever your day throws at you. And Public Rec isn't just about pants. They have so many great style options, whether you're working all day in the office, running errands, or just grabbing a drink with the guys. Who doesn't want to look sharp without sacrificing comfort.
And I'll tell you, once you put them on, you're gonna wonder why you ever wore anything else. So, this February, stop settling for the same old stuff. Step up your comfort game with Public Rec. It's about time to treat yourself. For a limited time, our viewers can get 20% off your entire order with code WeeklyWeird at publicrec.com. That's 20% off when you use promo code WeeklyWeird at publicrec.com. Usually, when you order comfortable pants, you only get to pick from small, medium, large, and extra large sizes, but with Public Rec pants, you get to select the exact width and length that you need. Whether you're a 30 by 30 or a 44 by 36, big boy, you can find your perfect fitting pants. Public Rec pants come in so many unique colorways, from navy, dark olive, and stone gray. You're sure to find the right color for you. Their proprietary blend of performance materials provides the perfect combination of breathability and stretch while still holding its form. You'll never want to take them off.
Public Rec not only has the most comfortable pants ever made, but they have a huge selection of high-quality, everyday premium styles. You can revamp your entire wardrobe with their perfect-fitting polos, shorts, and hoodies. So, this February, treat yourself right, because comfort is always in season. Upgrade to Public Rec and feel the difference. For a limited time, you can get 20% off at Public Rec by using code WeeklyWeird at checkout. Just head to publicrec.com, use code WeeklyWeird, and you're all set. And when they ask where you found them, mention our show, because it does help out. Find your perfect fit, never compromise on comfort again. Public Rec, where comfort rules.
And this episode is sponsored by Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for clean eating, delivering pre-portioned and prepped quality whole foods with limited processed ingredients. Green Chef sends organic, fresh produce, responsibly sourced proteins, and chef-designed recipes in every box for satisfying, nourishing, and convenient meals that make it easy to stick to a clean eating routine. This year, ditch the fads and create healthier eating habits that last with real clean foods. Green Chef makes it easy with recipes curated for a variety of lifestyles and dietary needs. With pre-made sauces and pre-portioned ingredients, there's less prep and less mess, and more time to savor delicious restaurant-quality meals. Want to create better eating habits that last? Green Chef makes it easy with dietitian-developed recipe options, including fresh, organic produce, and quality whole foods delivered to your door each week. I recently tried Green Chef for the first time in a while, and I was blown away by how delicious my meals were while still being very healthy. I went with the Mediterranean options, and the recipes were fun to make. The food was on the table within a half an hour. I had tilapia, I had salmon, I had shrimp.
This man took a trip around the world in a half hour.
That's right.
Thrive all year with clean, easy meals from Green Chef. Go to greenchef.com/weirdfree and use code WEIRDFREE to get started with free salads for 2 months plus 50% off your first box. Again, that's free salads for 2 months plus 50% off your first box by using the code WEIRDFREE at greenchef.com/weirdfree. Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well.
And now you're about to eat well on a real buffet of news headlines.
The weirdest, craziest, the wildest headlines. Starting out,
the most delicious.
This first one's on theme, but it is funny.
It's funny. It's troubling. It's a sign of the times.
Yes.
3 men claiming to be from Doge show up at San Francisco City Hall, demand records.
And who wouldn't give it to them? Because if they don't, they're going to get on the phone and start screaming, Elon!
Well, luckily the people at San Francisco City Hall know that the federal government has absolutely no jurisdiction over their records, and they told these people to fuck off and called the cops on them. And and also, I mean, there's no evidence that this was actually a bunch of Doge employees, which is like, it's almost more troubling. It's the same way we've seen a bunch of people just decide to cosplay as like Border Patrol and ICE and like harass.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't need, there's no like identification. You just got to threaten people by saying that, oh, you want your job to not exist? I'll call Elon. Let me in.
Yeah, it's just the threats don't work. Like, what the fuck are you going to do?
Yeah.
We're a local government.
Keep your threats out of California.
But it's the fact that it was San Francisco too. Like I would dare say that like conservatives in the Bay Area are like some of the most insane conservatives in the country. They're very different than the typical conservative, and they're finally having their moment with big tech and MAGA converging this way. So that's cool. If someone comes to your door saying they're from Doge,
slam it in their face.
Tell them to fuck off.
Yeah. Project 2025 is gutting medical funding that helped Russell Vaught's own kid.
Yeah, it's just like with that Emil Bove guy and January 6th. There's people don't really apply the same standards to themselves that they apply to others. Yeah, Russell Bott, his kid has cystic fibrosis, which is like a very fucking, it's bad. I had a kid in my elementary school who like died from it. I think in the past like 30 years, there's been a lot of improvements on like quality of life and lifespan for it.
Wait, how did they do that? With budgets and research and development?
Thanks to medical research funded by the U.S. government that developed treatments that this guy's own fucking kid uses to stay alive. But really just pulling the ladder up behind him, or selling out his own kid for the sake of his principles.
It's a sacrifice he's willing to make.
Yeah. If I had to choose between my sick kid and America just being a libertarian hellhole, sorry, kid.
You're choosing the hellhole every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sucks. It's like, it reminds me of that story a couple of, well, at this point, a decade ago, where it was the local congressman or senator or something like that had like not gone forward with some restrictions on amusement park rides, and then his son fucking died when he got launched out of that raft, the like world's tallest water slide or whatever. Yeah, fucked up. Speaking of fucked up, Kid Rock cuts Nashville performance short, storms off stage after audience won't clap.
You'd think he'd be in such a great mood right now.
Yeah, you think
you
this
got
would be a victory
everything you
lap.
wanted. That's the thing with these people is they're never like satisfied. They're sore winners. And
I come out in public, the public hates me. I go home, I hate myself.
Yeah, and the video of this is even more bizarre because like he wasn't getting booed. It seemed like the crowd was in a good mood, and it was like a birthday party for one of the musicians on stage. And when he starts like complaining, I think everyone like thinks he's doing a bit, like he's riffing on stage.
Oh, here he goes.
But then he actually leaves, and everyone's just like, "What?"
Wow.
I guess he really needs clapping.
He's
clap for Kid Rock.
Not to get into the tabloid side of this, but he has been spotted with Lauren Boebert privately.
Oh man, damn.
That's like a 30-year age gap, isn't it?
I mean, she's seen.
It's a 20-year age gap. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Still weird.
She also she's got the conservative woman thing where she seems a little bit older than she actually is.
Like
she's like younger than us, but she's got the look that like adds 10 years.
I'm over a decade older than the White House press secretary.
Yeah,
This is the same feeling I get when I go to Dodger games and their stats and ages pop up on the screen, and I just like.
I mean, yeah, with sports, like when that first started happening around like my late 20s, it was weird. Now I've accepted it.
I'm like, there's my favorite player who's 20 years younger than me.
Yeah, let's go, kiddo. Carolyn Levitt, though, the White House press secretary, who is 27 but looks 40.
Yeah,
she's married to a dude who's like 35 years older than her. It's fucking weird.
All right.
Todd.
Well,
she likes them old.
Who was the other one? Olivia Nuzzi.
Yeah, Nutsy.
Yeah.
There's one congressman I think we talked about one time, but like his wife was like literally a child when they met.
Oh God. That's like what people say. I don't know. About Dane Cook, I guess, was like knew his wife or new wife.
Oh no, the Dane Cook situation is really fucking gross.
Yeah, it's
like a daughter of some friends of his.
Ugh.
Yeah, and they announced their relationship like right when she turned 18, and it was very clear that like they had been dating for a little while before that, and he is like fucking in his 50s. It's so weird and gross. But congratulations to the couple.
The gift is in the mail.
In some very metaphorical news, bald eagle euthanized in Massachusetts after bird flu diagnosis.
Jesus. I mean,
it's only been our national bird for what? A month?
Yeah.
And we're already euthanizing it for a disease that we are really not taking seriously and is probably going to keep getting worse and worse, despite the effect that it has had on the nation's poultry and eggs supply.
Yeah. Well, who needs a bald eagle when you have the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, Elliot?
That's right.
Call. Speaking of birds, Duolingo owl dead. Killed by Cybertruck, company says.
Well, at least it wasn't bird flu.
Yeah, it was the other worst thing for the country.
It is funny, like as someone who uses Duolingo on a daily basis but doesn't follow them on social media, it's two completely separate sides of the company. Like they've got this whole Duo has like he's got lore.
Yeah, no,
he's like Dua Lipa's biggest. He's got a big crush on.
He was on Twitter for a while saying some nasty shit. Like, I bet it smelled good in there when like Billie Eilish took a crap or something.
Yeah, if you only use the app, you would never know about any of this shit.
Well, and if you only use the app, you will still not be fluent in whatever language that you're trying to learn.
Yeah, it's not great. It's
you just know terms. It's fine. You can piece things together.
I've learned a lot. I've been able to like talk to workers that come to my house to like install fucking air conditioning and shit. Yeah, it's not the best way to learn at all, but it's not nothing either.
I'm sure they really appreciate you trying.
Yeah, they did.
Ringo Starr confirms he's never eaten pizza. It's never come up. Do you have a slice for me right now? It's just never, the opportunity has never popped up.
He said he's never had pizza and he's never had curry either, which like that one's almost more shocking as a British person.
Yeah. Well,
he's never done it. He was in a Pizza Hut commercial in the 90s.
I don't want to touch it. It's all props.
But like people were like, wait, so you look at the ad and he like opens his mouth and holds it, but you don't see him bite.
It's a prop. It's a prop pizza.
He doesn't like it. Yeah, he says he has some like weird food allergies and he's like, well, you just never know what's in pizza. So I don't eat it. I've never tried it.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe he's telling the truth. Bit weird.
I saw because of the Ringo thing, I saw a guy of SNL 50 is doing their thing, and one of the old writers from like the 90s or 80s, I guess Ringo was a guest, and he was like, have you ever ashtray anywhere? And he's like, no, I got this mug. So Ringo ashed in the mug. And the guy fucking put saran wrap over it. He still has it to this day. Weird.
I mean,
I met Ringo.
What? You did?
Yeah. He does the elbow bump instead of the handshake. Too many germs.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Peace and love. I didn't really care all that much. I mean, it's cool that it was a Beatle, but it's not like, it's just Ringo.
Yeah. He's pretty cool, though. Yeah. I like Ringo. 17 members of feuding MILF groups arrested.
Where are these MILF groups? Where are they feuding? And where are they, these terrible MILF groups?
Yeah, they're in the Philippines. They're called the Moro Islamic Liberation Front.
Oh, I was thinking something completely different.
Yeah, not the MILFs I was looking for either.
When the ad on the side of the website, I wasn't thinking that.
Yeah. Got Philippines Islamic separatists in your area.
Right now.
My husband is dead.
No. It's a weird headline, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, they picked that name for themselves decades ago, before the concept of the MILFs came out, and I'm sure they don't appreciate getting lumped in together.
Well, they should watch the very serious movie Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, where there's a terrorist organization
The Clit?
named the Clit.
I am the Clit commander.
That's right. I turned myself in. Michael Bay says he was arrested for breaking into the Vatican. Cool.
He's like a vlogger now. He's always posting these vlogs, and yeah, it does seem as if he snuck into the Vatican through like a back door.
They got a lot of those.
Because he didn't want to like go around to the front, and then he was arrested. But I don't know. Seems like a stunt.
Well, he loves stunts.
Yeah.
In his vlogs, does he hold up products with the label facing out correctly?
Not in this one that I could see.
Hey, Michael Bay here. I'm just in Italy and
just enjoying a delicious Pepsi. Ice cold. So crisp.
No, it just happened to roll up to me on the street. Police try to crack the case after more than 500 eggs stolen from restaurant. That'll happen. That'll happen.
It's a breakfast cafe too, so it's
All right, all stocked up for tomorrow morning. Time to leave this completely unguarded.
I haven't tried to even buy any for like the past month or so, but I hear things are getting crazy out there. They're like the more than $12 for a dozen eggs, like more than $1 per egg.
I have already seen videos of people going absolutely crazy at Costco.
Yeah.
Lines in the morning, right when they open, and people, just like with everything else during COVID and everything else, and during natural disasters, they're buying more eggs than any human family could eat.
So I'm sure that is partially true.
And it's a lot of restaurants too.
Yeah, from what I've heard, it's a lot of like the whole restaurant supply chain has gotten disrupted by this. So a lot of restaurants, they don't have like they're getting limited on like how many eggs they can order and stuff. So they're sending out workers to go to Costco like first thing in the morning to like fill out their inventory. But I'm sure there are also assholes just like hoarding eggs and then going door to door in the neighborhood. Hey, opens up a jacket full of eggs.
You know, right now,
look at these.
I did see this pointed out. I had the thought, but I also saw it pointed out. It's like we're living in a world where, like, you know, 20, 30 years ago, we used to throw eggs at people just for fun.
Yeah, they were disposable.
Yeah. But now you'd really be making a statement if, you know, I would never do this, but if you egged a Cybertruck right now, like, it would say a lot more than just egging.
Yeah, I'm willing to pay the price.
Yeah, you've made me upset for at least $10 just seeing that drive down the road.
Yeah, I need to make a chicken coop. I think I'm going to do it.
He's going to do it.
Tired of this bullshit.
Yeah. Peruvian policeman in capybara costumes makes Valentine's drug bust.
I don't know what it is with Central and South American, like, police forces. We see this so often now where they'll all dress up like mascots and shit for a drug bust.
Well, it works, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it gets them attention.
Yeah.
But, yeah, a big capybara costume. It's like trying to go into the trap house and, like, can't even squeeze through the door. I'm like, why? Like, I think when they first started doing this, it was like, there was like a reason to it. Like, they dress up like these characters to like infiltrate like a kid's birthday party at a drug dealer's house or something. But now it just seems like they're putting on these costumes. And
Once you got a hit.
Police work.
Once you got a hit.
I mean, I guess there is some benefit to it because, like, if I'm a criminal and a bunch of cops bust into my house, I'm going to have a certain reaction. But if I'm a criminal and a large, like, anthropomorphic capybara busts into my house, I'm going to be mentally disarmed.
Yeah. I'm going to say, wait, hold on. I need about 10 seconds to figure out what's going on.
It'll be easier for them to catch me off guard because I'm going to be like, what the hell is going on?
Yes.
Am I crazy? Am I dead? Anyway, final headline. Comedian Bill Burr says billionaires need to be put down like rabid dogs in heated rant.
This is on his wonderful Monday morning podcast.
Which he's been doing now for
a very long
time. It's literally just him like shouting into a tape recorder and sometimes asking his wife questions.
Yeah.
But
hey, get in here.
Yeah, he's like the one like comedian who, based off of his material, you would expect him to have gone in one direction the past couple of years, and he's managed to go in the opposite direction, and it's pleasantly surprising.
Yeah.
But it's also like he's an old school guy. A lot of these people try to they're like, I'm old school, but he's actually old school in like a genuine way where like the working class did not like lick the boots of fucking billionaires.
Well, yeah, and I mean, just look. It sucks, but look at a ton of fucking comedians, especially in Los Angeles. They all their parents have fucking blue clickable links.
Yeah.
And so when, yes, you are a working class person who comes up and fucking makes it big, like, you're going to still care about those communities.
Yeah. And he backs this up, and his explanation is very simple, logical, and makes a lot of sense. He's like, you should, if you're working,
we're the richest country on earth.
If you're working 40 hours a week, you shouldn't be struggling financially at all. And
you should have a house or a roof over your head.
You shouldn't have to work 2 jobs. You should be able to like actually see your kids and raise them. And there's more than enough money to go around. It
sounds reasonable.
These billionaires are hoarding it, and they need to be put down like rabid dogs.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's just a mix of his upbringing. It's great to have some voice of reason.
He was like shouting "Free Luigi" on like talk shows.
Yeah, a month ago.
Back in December. I'm like, all right, Bill Burr.
Yeah, he's
all right.
People give him shit online. A lot of when it was, when Twitter was a big thing. Like,
I mean, he's very un-PC.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like this weird game where people are like, well, it's like, no, I like all of his stuff. Sorry.
He's un-PC, but like his heart, I think, is in a very like.
He is the perfect example of you can make jokes.
Yeah.
If your intentions are good.
He's got a very rough exterior, but like his heart is very much, I think, in the right place on most things.
Yeah. There's like Theo Von comes from like what, Dutch royalty or something?
Wait, what?
Yeah. Like the Von in Theo Von is like Von something.
Really?
Yeah.
He does not project that.
Well, duh. And then Nick Kroll's dad's a billionaire or something.
Well, yeah.
It's every indie band and comedian.
Nick Kroll's dad's not just a billionaire. He's like a fucking CIA asset. Oof. Yeah, it's quite a rabbit hole.
Yeah. Anyways, go start clicking some links on Wikipedia. It'll be fun. But before you do that, make sure you click the like button. Do it right now. I got less than 30 seconds to get out of here before we hit an hour again. Click the like button. Leave a comment. Talk about anything we talked about today. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Watch our other videos over here, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Asmund said he doesn't want to debate. I mean, I said I would have a conversation with Asmongold. Doesn't have to be a debate. But I don't know why his chat said that he wanted to debate. And then now he's saying he doesn't want to. Anyway. But we won't get into the don't be a sucker stuff. I want to see what Asmund has to say. There is literally no reason to fucking go to school, study political science. It's not. Hey, congratulations to the DigiGers, okay? DigiGers, you did it. #1 political commentator on the platform. Still.
Hassan is really getting upset about this #1 political commentator.
I'm not. Listen, it's the world that they wanted to see. He is the #1 political commentator. It's true. Well, I can't believe Asmongold still tries to say he's apolitical. Hold on. Let me put my apolitical hat on. As an apolitical content creator, okay? As an apolitical content creator, I think Asmongold claiming that he's not a political commentator is crazy. Okay? And he knows it too. We watch the same shit every day, brother. Am I not a political commentator? Am I also not a political commentator? Wait, hold on. Let me take the apolitical hat off. Now you can see I am a political commentator. Hold on. Let me put the apolitical hat on again. You might be mistaken to think I'm a political person because I'm wearing the apolitical hat. But like, let's look at Asmongold's YouTube page, you know? Asmongold TV. Asmongold's YouTube page. ICE raids create ghost towns across New York City. Asmongold reacts. Okay. Elden Ring or Night Rain. You can tell this game is going to be good. Elden Ring, Night Rain gameplay is crazy. Pokemon is going viral again, okay? There's interspersed stuff there that is not inherently political, even though there is a political perspective that Asmongold maintains when talking about gaming in general. But if you were to say that this is a gaming channel, it'd be kind of wild at this point, right? JD Vance's warning to Europe, you're turning totalitarian. Trump is crashing out. RFK Jr. becomes Trump's national health secretary. Asmongold isn't just a political commentator. Asmongold is a very successful political commentator, okay? And I don't mean like, oh, what the is happening? This is another, look at the weird queer folk type video. Okay. Asmongold is a more successful right-wing political commentator. And I've said this before. Asmongold is a more successful right-wing political commentator than Ben Shapiro. He gets 50% lower. Okay. We're living through a meme. Donald Trump. Trump just released the Kraken. 2 million views. What the is wrong with Twitch? 600,000 views. And it's like Twitch not banning me for the pro-terrorism propaganda that I was engaging in, which is ironic to say. Okay? When you around, Klein's going viral again. President Trump's brutal. I don't know why he thinks that you're upset about him being #1 when right-wing commentators have always been above you. Yeah, I'm a leftist online. I never have taken my position for granted. Asmund said he doesn't want to debate. I mean, I said I would have a conversation with Asmongold. Doesn't have to be a debate. But I don't know why his chat said that he wanted to debate, and then now he's saying he doesn't want to. But I understand why he wouldn't want to. Anyway, so just wanted to point this out just so people understand the idea that like Asmongold is not a political content creator is ridiculous. I think most people understand that.
Hassan is the #1 political commentator on the platform. He always has been. I cover some political issues. Hassan only covers political issues.
No, that's like me saying I'm a gaming journalist because I watch the fucking state of play. Okay, this is not only wrong, but I think this is not only wrong, but I think it's also deliberately obtuse. And I think the reason why it's deliberately obtuse is because when you are doing political commentary, you now on Twitch, due to a lot of the pushback from the Diddy Gears and Dan Saltman and Spestany and the like, and even Ethan Klein, you now have to put this tag on, a content label, political and sensitive social issues. I don't know if Asmongold puts the tag on when he does his commentary. Okay. I don't know if he does that. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I truly don't know, and I don't think this chat is going to give me the correct answer. Okay? But I have to, because when I don't, there are people who wait. Okay? I have it all the time. I have it on all the time, because when I don't have it on, okay, when I do not have the news and politics, like political sensitive content label, people immediately start mass reporting to try to get me banned. He's ducking you, saying he doesn't see the point in talking to you, then Cope's talking about your ex-podcast co-host video. Yeah, I've always been very graceful when talking to Asmon directly. Perhaps, you know, to a degree where people yell at me all the time and say I'm caping for him and defending him.
I've never said that. I've never insinuated that. Now, if he's mad that the videos that I do get more views or something, that's fine. That's okay. But I'm not trying to shit on him, and I never was. And also, by the way,
it's not me shitting on him when I say he's the largest political content creator. It's the truth. It's just the truth.
If you go over to Destiny's subreddit, you'll find that a lot of them really don't like me either. So this entire idea that
they're also truly a force that doesn't necessarily care about like political ideology as much. They disagree with Asmongold on a lot of the stuff he says, but they're not above using Asmongold's community as a force to consistently attack people that they consider far greater enemies of their favorite content creator, Destiny.
The reason why I'm successful is because of Destiny. I find to be incredibly ironic from Hassan, because I think that Destiny really went out on a limb back.
I don't think he's I don't think he understood what I was saying there. I wasn't saying that he's successful because of Destiny. I was saying that, for example, on the election night coverage, on the election day coverage, Destiny and his community had actively went out to every single advertiser, false information about like Twitch banning Israeli accounts or whatever the right, like actual libel that they had sent out to every news outlet possible, and they'd sent out to like every single advertiser of Twitch in an effort to try and get me banned. And they openly stated that this was their purpose. It was either to A, get Destiny unbanned from the platform, or B, get me banned before the election. And because of that, Twitch didn't ban me, so shouts out to them. But part of that, I think, led to Twitch taking me off the main page, like taking me off the algorithm, blacklisting me. And for that reason, Asmongold on the night of the election got a shit ton of viewers, of course. Like, he was going to get it because he's one of the top content creators on the platform for sure. But he definitely was. When someone went on twitch.tv without a logged account on election day, the only content creator that came up that was covering election day was Asmongold. That's it. That's a boost. That is a reality, right?
Hardpoint located.
If it wasn't significant, regardless of the 300 and I think like what 14K viewership I got for the entire day, who knows how high that number possibly would have been if I also was in the algorithm. People had to directly like click on twitch.tv/HassanAbi to get to my fucking profile. And many people did. Hundreds of thousands of people did. So that still failed. Like that initiative still failed. But I think that process also gave a lot of people an alternative perspective, which is fine. If that's what you wanted, that's what simply all I'm saying. You wanted an alternative dissenting voice to the radical terrorism defense that I'm engaging in because I'm anti-, then you got it. That's it. That's my statement here. It's not that it's not necessarily like, oh, me saying Asmongold's the #1 political commentator for any other reason. It's just the truth.
In 2018 to push Hassan and to platform Hassan. I remember Hassan coming on the Trainwrecks podcast and Destiny bringing him on stream, and I'm sure that there are probably even clips from back in the day.
I don't think it was Destiny that was responsible for me doing a lot of these collaborations. It was Austin and Train personally asking me. But yes, Destiny did initially platform my list ass. That is true. On this platform, at least.
Of Destiny and Hassan talking about how much he was appreciative of Destiny. So it's ironic that I'm the person who is the beneficiary of DGG when Hassan was the one who originally was himself. Destiny made Hassan. I'm not going to say that. I didn't.
You seem to think that you calling political is a personal beef instead of an accurate assessment. Yeah, it's not. It's not personal beef at all. It's just an accurate assessment.
Say that. All I'm saying is that there's a lot of people that were, and the Destiny himself spent a lot of time actually promoting and trying to, bring Hassan into the political culture of Twitch. And he helped Hassan build his channel at the beginning. He did. And I think that Hassan probably would even acknowledge that.
I do acknowledge it. It's true. So just talk to him instead of watching clips of other. I'm not the one who said he wasn't down to talk to Asmongold. I said I was perfectly fine in doing so. Anyway. I don't know why this became the main point of contention here.
This is ironic.
Yeah, go take it up with Asmongold. I'm down to talk to him. I have no issue with the diversity of opinion. I hope you're happy with that. It is the diversity of opinion. Asmongold and I disagree with one another on virtually all political issues. There's some agreements there as well, but we disagree on virtually everything, right? Whether it be on the aesthetic front, optic front, whatever, whether it be on an accurate reflection of history. Now, having said that, this is what these guys wanted. The centrist liberals wanted someone who had a disagreement with what they thought was the largest threat to American democracy. This is not even about Asmongold, beyond the fact that he is, correctly, as I've stated, the largest political content creator on this platform.
The follow-up. We'll watch the follow-up.
It is pretty crazy that Asmongold watched that fucking Ethan Klein video, and then
he's unhappy that I watched the. He's unhappy that I watched the content.
No, I hope he watches the full video here, because I wasn't unhappy that he watched the video. You can watch it all day. I don't give a shit. Play it all day. It's just funny that his fans, who are literally saying the Nazis are based, were coming into my chat since he watched that video to be like, why aren't you banned yet, dude, for your anti-Semitic terrorism? That's the point.
Video. Now, I understand why he's unhappy. I think that if I was him...
Oh, wait, why didn't you play that fully? Wait, what? What the fuck is that insane stalker account that is now... Wait. Why did he skip through it? Does he get back to it? I hope he gets back to it.
And if you look at a lot of the comments...
Whether the video was curated against Hassan or not the fact that he still said the crap just because the dude was blah, 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 blah. Wait, what is it? What is he saying? Oh, he's saying that
and I actually tried to give him the benefit of the doubt the entire time, because I try to maintain consistency, I try to maintain a lack of bias, and I try to maintain a degree of decorum to make sure that...
I think, by the way, this is true. This is something that I have long maintained. Asmongold is a very strange fellow. Okay? He's a very interesting guy. And for years and years, as a lot of people have viciously come after me and said a whole bunch of different lies, in most circumstances, he has not actually taken the bait. So my disagreement on Asmongold is not around decorum or the optics of the situation. My disagreement on Asmongold is purely politics. It's pure political. I do not agree with his worldview. I do not agree with the audience that he is cultivating. I think it's dangerous. I will go so far as to say that as well. I think it is dangerous to make these kinds of opinions, whether it be transphobic opinions, whether it be anti-migrant opinions, whether it be these like right-wing opinions. I think that creating a habitable ground for these kinds of opinions, whether it is because you're getting a lot of relevancy out of it, whether it's whatever your purposes are, or whether you ideologically agree with it, I still think it's harmful. Part of that is because a lot of people don't understand politics. Okay, if many people understood politics, I probably would not be as relevant, I would say. But a lot of people don't understand politics, and because they don't understand politics or don't necessarily care about politics, they just kind of look at clout and they see Asmongold as the top political content creator. And so many of these like centrist content creators will, either because they want raids or because they want to collaborate or because they're afraid of offending Asmongold's audience. And even if Asmongold doesn't weaponize his audience in the same way that like other content creators do, people basically develop this attitude that this kind of opinion will actually get you more attention. Okay? You'll be showered with praise and you'll get all this attention. And I think that creates this environment where content creators will start leaning in to right-wing commentary of this sort, even if they previously had no interest in it whatsoever. Okay? Brother, just stick to your echo chamber and let the man have his. People understand politics. Understanding politics doesn't mean they have to be on your side. I don't think you understand anything if you are saying that, oh, just stick to your echo chamber. Okay? And I don't think you understand. I'm saying that Asmongold's politics are wrong. Okay? They're not only wrong, but they're based out of false data. They're incorrect, and it leads to a lot of cruel action down the line. Okay? That's my disagreement. It's very simple. It is a political disagreement. Do you understand, chatter? Yes, of course. Plenty of people don't agree with my world view. We can agree to disagree, my man. That is a cop-out, chatter. You are engaging in a very classic cop-out. We can agree to disagree is a coward's way out of this conversation. You came in with a bold statement. You said, people understand politics. Understanding politics doesn't mean they have to be on your side. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? I don't know why you are demanding that everyone go back to their neat little hug boxes and not best one another as interlocutors in the marketplace of ideas. I thought that's what a lot of people wanted in the past, I thought, right-wingers especially. No, it's not. They don't. You just want them to be on your side so bad, but it's okay. You're still cool. Again, for someone who chooses not to understand what I'm saying, you are consistently moving the conversation away from historical context or political disagreements back to like a popularity contest. I'm saying that the popularity contest element of this only works because so many people are inherently disinterested in politics. They always have to add something else onto it. That's why a lot of people who think that they are invested in political ideology or political movements unironically find themselves in drama-centered content consumption because it makes it more palatable. It makes it easier to watch when there's drama associated with content creators. Okay? You're doing it right now. You're basically proving what I'm talking about. But isn't that what you do? If you think that out of the 8 hours of political commentary that I do, it's mostly drama focused, you would be wrong. If that's if this is something you're truly questioning, then the answer is no. I spend most of my political I rarely do this exact thing that I'm doing currently, okay, which is addressing another content creator's political opinions, or I actually stray away from that routinely. People try to get me to do it all the time. I don't like doing it because I think it's a distraction, and I think that it causes people to develop resentment towards me, and less charitable to my approach to politics in general. So yeah, I regularly stay away, or to the best of my ability, even when I get fucking pulled into it, I try to stay away from this kind of commentary because I think it's inherently unproductive. Do you think this discourse was Asman at this point is constructive? Because from what I see, they're essentially just drama baiting and you're taking the bait. I don't think you're going to change the minds of any of these Nazi pieces of shit. I give you that much, but you are farming this. We can find ways to meet each other in the middle. See, you're continuing to do this. You're continuing to do the thing that I'm explaining to you is inherently showing that you don't find politics to be all that entertaining or important to address. I was trying to have a conversation about Asmongold's politics and why I don't agree with them, and how I think it's unironically dangerous to, at the very least, irresponsible to just like present certain opinions as though they're like totally normal in an effort to be edgy. And you're still going, oh, well, you know, agree to disagree, or, oh, you're just farming this for drama. Anyway, let's continue.
When I'm talking about something, that I do so in the most authentic and accurate way. Now, do mistakes happen? It was not written in Jewish, for example. Yeah, of course mistakes happen. But the goal is to be authentic and the goal is to be accurate. And the issue here is that I actually think that Hassan should be thanking me for watching the Content Nuke, because I think that I'm probably one of the only people that would actually give it a fair shake rather than just hop on the fuck Hassan.
To be fair, I'm not even going to deny this. I don't think he's wrong about that. I do agree with him that he probably is the only person that would watch that and still disagree with Ethan Klein out of like all of the other top content creators. Like XQC would probably watch it, very rarely disagree with Ethan, mostly just say like, oh, it's crazy. It's fucking crazy that Hassan is doing this stuff. Okay, so the point is, Asmongold and I do not have, I guess, personal hatred for one another. It's more so political disagreements.
Untrain and say that he should be banned for everything that he's ever done, which is something that I haven't done. So he should be saying thank you for me watching this and providing a...
I wouldn't say that, but he's literally called you a fucking terrorist and said you should be banned. Are you listening to yourself right now? Wake the fuck up, dipshit. Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but virtually the entire video is designed to present that point of view, and everyone that watched it to reinstate that point of view. Not that it fucking worked, because I think most people understand, like, oh yeah, if you say anything mean about Israel, people will call you a fucking Islamist fundamentalist terrorist or whatever. But, you know,
a take on it that's accurate, balanced, and fair. But unfortunately, that's not.
I didn't watch his I didn't watch a nuke, and I didn't watch his rewatching of the nuke, but I do want to see if he actually called me a terrorist.
Not the case. We'll go back, we'll watch the rest of it.
LGBT people.
Wait a second.
Personal stuff, skip to 5740. He watched the video from the Holocaust Memorial Channel to feel vindicated about the point.
Oops.
Nazis.
How did that happen?
His chat kept coming in here to be like, you're an anti-Semitic terrorism lover. You should be banned. Why aren't you banned yet? Meanwhile,
I mean, to be fair, Hassan, you have been very positive towards people who are on the national terror list. I mean, you...
Oh, man, damn. Well, thank you for the charitability, man. That's crazy. Bro, look at your screen. They're saying W based about Hitler. Like, what the fuck? I'm telling you, dude, any kind of controversy, this guy hits the fuck Hassan button. You aren't even involved in this. Yeah. Well, I think it is a pretty good way to... It's a pretty good smoke screen. Anytime someone yells at you, if I dare to say something about it, okay? And this is not just Asmongold. This is basically virtually every single fucking content creator on this goddamn platform that comes out and says something that's like genuinely dumb or fucking wrong. They can just turn around and be like, well, Hassan is fucking loves terrorism or anything like that. And everyone will just laser in on that and be like, yeah, he's right. Asmon's kind of base for this. regardless of what their fucking perspective is. Okay? That's it. So, yeah.
You have been. Like, this is a fact. Like, this isn't a debatable reality. You interviewed a terrorist, and
That is a debatable reality, I guess. Just like you're wrong to say they were writing in Jewish, you're wrong on this front as well. The person that I interviewed that I thought could potentially be a Houthi when I interviewed him, which at the time wasn't even a fucking part of the official terror watch list, by the way, okay, is not a part of the Ansar Allah movement. He is not a Houthi, okay? He revealed that information to me on the interview that I conducted. And not only that, but also numerous outlets interviewed him afterwards and even reached out to me. The New York Times literally reached out so they could get access to this person. So just so we're clear, I know that people just basically repeat this falsehood over and over and over again with the hopes that like no one will check them on this, but it's just not the case. You can't just be like, nah, this person's a terrorist. He looks like one, because I'm fucking assuming that every single person from Yemen is that has a gun, and the highest gun per capita country after the United States of America is automatically a terrorist. Sorry, he's just a fucking terrorist. Okay, well, you're wrong. I don't know if anybody cares about the fucking truth, you know? Even if Rashid was a part of the Ansar Allah movement, why would he even deny it? It's the fucking government. Exactly. That's what's so stupid about this. Anti-left pundits are gold medalists in bad faith arguments. Yeah.
I defended you interviewing the terrorist. I even defended you with that.
Okay, thank you for defending me interviewing a terrorist.
I said it's okay because I want people to be able to talk to people.
Did you know he was not Houthi before accepting the interview? No, I didn't. I didn't. I thought he was. I thought he could be. I've explained this before. I defend on principle. Like, if I interviewed an actual member of the Ansar Allah movement, I would have done. If I had the opportunity to do so at the time, I would have done it. I don't think people understand. I don't think people understand this. Like, the thing that annoys me. The thing that fucking annoys me about this process is not that people are saying like you defended or debated, or not even debated, but like you blazed up a terrorist or whatever. What's frustrating to me is that they're saying he's a fucking terrorist. They're just like falsely claiming that this person is a part of the Ansar Allah movement. If he was on the terror list, for example, would you have still interviewed him? Yes. Yes. Yeah, of course. Yes, 100%. Depending on who we're talking about on the terror watch list, the dynamic would, of course, be different. Okay? So here's what I mean by this. Fucking Nelson Mandela was on the terror watch list until 2008. If I had the opportunity to interview Nelson Mandela, it would be a positive interview. Do you see what I'm saying? Not every single person on the fucking terror watch list is actually a violent villain. All right, there's a difference between understandable figures that are terrorists on the terror watch list, like Osama fucking bin Laden, okay, versus people like Nelson Mandela, for example, right? But the issue here is one, everything gets clipped out of context, so there's no real discourse, because I think a lot of people even content creators are not really invested in the context. They're not really invested in that. They're invested in, like, you know, lining up certain buttons that they can push at any given moment, being like, yeah, this fucking Hassan guy, he loves terrorism, right? It's just clip farming for the most part. That's it. Anyway,
but I didn't see the whole thing, and I didn't realize you glazed him that hard, man. You didn't have to do that. I even tried to.
Once again, not a terrorist. Just wrong. Wrong on that front.
To defend that. It's crazy.
Also, yeah, you know who else is a fucking terrorist? Luigi Mangione. If you think I wouldn't have a positive interview with Luigi Mangione, you're wrong, okay? Yeah, I don't think Asmongold is as charitable as I previously thought he was. I'm beginning to find out that maybe he is not as charitable. He has been. Fucking Chad's going W-based, Nazis. But hey, no, wait. That's what a lot of my naysayers wanted, though. They wanted someone.
Now, I'm not going to bring up the point when Ethan was getting attacked in Hassan's chat, and then Hassan said he couldn't control everybody's saying.
It's cool that I already addressed this earlier today by saying, yeah, if my fucking chat was calling Asmongold a Nazi, there's only so much moderation I can engage in when he's, you know, aligning, at least in this clip, ideologically with the position that the Nazis were presenting when they were engaging in the book burnings, considering that these, like, you know, medical research was un-German, okay? Yeah. There's only so much moderation one can do. At a certain point, it turns into PR. It turns into sweeping, okay? That's it. That was my point towards Ethan, and I was 100% correct on that point as well, and I think many people just, like, deliberately misunderstood the position that I was pointing to, which is I defended Ethan for quite some time, regularly, told my community to shut the fuck up, said it was unproductive to yell about Ethan, that Ethan was not your enemy. There is probably an hour-long compilation out there that you can find throughout the entire past year where I was like, I don't care. There's a real situation here with Israel. I don't care about, like, drama. I don't care about what Ethan is saying, and that he is not your enemy, that you should stop going after Ethan over and over again. Very charitable. Okay, very charitable. And the position that I had when I had that conversation with Ethan was Ethan basically saying that the Jewish Voice for Peace people were capos, collaborators of the Nazis. Okay, when you say that, people are going to think you're a Zionist. There is nothing I can do about that. That's my position, and it's still my position. Just like if Asmongold keeps putting out videos where he's, you know, glazing Donald Trump and saying he's based, or watching videos about how immigrants are destroying the culture of Germany or destroying the culture of Poland, and Western superiority must be maintained. And he agrees with that and goes, yeah, this guy's got great ideas. Yeah, I agree with him. Yeah, inevitably people are going to assume that you agree with them. Like you said, you are agreeing with Nazis. So of course people are going to think you're a fucking Nazi. Just like people say, Hassan, you agree with Hamas, right? Why do people say that? Is it born out of nothing? No, it's born out of the reality that I agree with Palestinian emancipation, okay? Hamas is but a name only in this process, okay? That's why people say, Hassan, you're pro-terrorist. You're pro-terrorist over and over and over again. There's also untrue aspects of their commentary, like when they say I'm anti-Semitic, or if they say that I agree with the internal dynamic or the political ideology of anything beyond just Palestinian emancipation. Okay? There's a reason why people say this sort of stuff. They say it because I'm anti-Israel and I'm pro-Palestinian. Okay? I know that. When talking about the terror watch list a few weeks ago, you said something along the lines of that even the IRA were on the terror watch list. Do you think the IRA aren't terrorists? You don't agree with... I'm confused. Like, when you say, do you think the IRA aren't terrorists, do you agree with Irish reunification or not? Like, do you agree with British colonial occupation of Ireland? What the fuck kind of position is this? Terrorism is a political designation that is kept vague deliberately so that the colonial power or the more powerful party can just deny habeas corpus and basic human rights to the people that they've declared a part of the bad group. You know, that's my point. That's a British chatter 100%. Irish republicanism is seen as still a terrorist ideology here because of the bombings in England and the sectarianism against prods. I'm going to be real. I support the IRA, but you can't pretend they weren't a terror organization. No, but that's my point. Terrorism as a designation is a political one. That's the whole point. Okay. The ANC were considered terrorists. They were fighting against apartheid South Africa. The IRA were considered terrorists. They were fighting against British colonial occupation. That's the entire point, okay? That's the entire reason for why this designation exists. If terrorism is simply doing violence to a civilian population, which is like what I do agree with, like as far as the designation, I agree. I think that the vague designation does not ever actually feature state violence, which it should. But I think at its base, if you want to consider something terrorism, you should consider it doing violence to a majority civilian population with the deliberate effort of making political change. If that is something that you consider terrorism, right? If that's what you consider terrorism, and that's, I think, as closest to the truth as you can get with respect to what terrorism is, okay? then the American government would be the arch terrorists of the planet. That's it. The reason why I consistently show you people, movements, groups that were considered terrorists by states, right? That we now understand, now that time has passed, is not actually, like, they weren't actually bad or wrong, and they had a moral position that was correct, is so you understand and interpret current instances of violence that are coming from non-state actors, okay? That shit is food for people who feed on your content. You should talk about revolutionaries. I do, yes. In the American Revolution, the founding fathers were considered terrorists by the British Empire. In Vietnam, the Viet Cong were considered terrorists as the American military was dumping napalm on Vietnamese villages, okay? So that's it. Here, I'll end it on this note, this beautiful note that I think many, even reactionaries, agree with here, okay?
For us?
Because at the end of the day, obesity is quite literally caused by putting more fuel in your body than your body is burning. That's it. In the simplest terms, everybody always gets mad when I say this or anyone else says this, but like calories in, calories out, even though it can lead to unhealthy eating disorders for sure, is quite literally just the truth, right? But a lot of those physiques are also unachievable without, medicine, the good vaccine, okay? The good vaccine, not the bad one that RFK hates, but the good one that RFK loves. Speaking of RFK and also Natty or Not conversations, let's listen to friend of the show, Dr. Mike Israetel.
American adults are obese or overweight, and the solution is always a shot or a pill that somebody is going to cash in on.
RFK. This is amazing. I'm really excited for this because of the fitness people that I'm around fucking love RFK, okay? But they also love Dr. Mike Israetel. So him going after RFK will, I think, truly cause a fissure in the fitness world because a lot of people love Dr. Mike Israetel and see his word as basically religious doctrine, okay? I'm not even kidding. And they love RFK because RFK is jacked.
Has a Googleable net worth of roughly $15 billion. It will not be taking accusatory notions of someone cashing in being a bad thing from a multimillionaire and not a Kennedy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for RP Strength. I have been a longtime professor of exercise and sport science, and I am a competitive bodybuilder and Blackie Belch, which is Brazilian for black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Cool. And today, I will be reviewing the various health and food and fitness claims and practices of a Mr. Dr. RFK. Because if you're a lawyer, you're a Juris Doctorate. So there you go, Dr. RFK. And he's got all sorts of fun things to say. Some of them are a little some of them are less some of them are actually quite good. Let's dive in and see if we can't science the living crap out of this.
I've literally never heard someone refer to a lawyer as doctor because they have a JD. That's crazy.
Roll camera.
Today, I want to talk about the biggest myth of the national obesity epidemic.
That's not a thing. I mean, technically, he's not wrong. I just think it's funny, but,
Color me excited. Let's see if we align on the myths.
The biggest myth is that if you're obese or overweight, it's your fault.
Yeah. This is a complex topic. There are 3 groups of factors that are very likely responsible for almost all of obesity. The least impactful factor are things like nutritional education, things like do you live in a food desert or not, and many other very small ones that people talk about all the time. And that sort of like 20% eats up all of the other small factors. There are 2 big factors that I think account for up to 80% of the entire obesity epidemic. One factor is that some people have a higher than average genetic, mostly food drive.
Okay.
And that food drive...
No. Those are the most impactful. What? No. I don't think... I personally think the most impact... Dude, this is such a funny conversation because he's not saying that food literacy and access, etc., are not impactful. He's just saying out of the 3 main factors, it's the least impactful. And this is an issue that everyone has their own personal pet peeves with and have their own personal opinion with. If you were to ask me, what do I always say? One of the most impactful aspects of obesity for me is walkability in cities and a car-reliant infrastructure, and also the subsidies that we offer certain types of food and the pervasive lobbying influence over food regulation and food safety in general. So, like, I think part of the reason why I feel that way, of course, is because, you know, that's also another thing that there are many invisible ways in which people stay relatively leaner in certain countries over others, and that's because of those reasons, right? Like, it's not like there isn't, you know, economic inequality or food deserts in England or other places. England's not even a good example, but like in poorer countries overall, they still exist. But like, if the structural differences that I just described don't exist in those countries, if people are walking more frequently, for example, they are less likely to be obese.
Is what allows them to find meaning in chasing down tasty foods, eating tasty foods, really liking it, and eating more of them. If you don't have very high food drive, it's difficult for you to become obese because you're just not that excited about eating. If you have very high food drive and the environment is such that you have lots of money relative to the world around you, and food is relatively convenient and cheap and easily available, it doesn't require tons of hours to make, then you have a situation where you can kind of checkbox all of your desires and food drive, and then that's an easy way to get obese. So food drive is huge. And if we can reduce food drive, which we can with some kinds of bariatric surgery and with modern anorectic drugs, really, really, really big deal.
Because at the end of the day, obesity is quite literally caused by putting more fuel in your body than your body is burning. That's it. In the simplest terms, everybody always gets mad when I say this or anyone else says this, but like calories in, calories out, even though it can lead to unhealthy eating disorders for sure, is quite literally just the truth, right? This is such a dumb smart guy take. It's not. It's just the truth. The difference, however, is all of these other factors that no one really, I guess, considers when talking about calories in, calories out. For someone like myself, for example, my metabolism, regardless of my muscle mass, because your metabolism is dictated by a multitude of different factors, like your burn rate, your daily burn rate, is dictated by a bunch of different factors. One of it is the lean muscle mass that you have. How much you're using your brain can also factor into it. How fidgety you are also factors into it. And how much you burn in the process of eating to actually use the food that you're eating also factors into it. This is, I guess, like in the most reductive ways, this is how you explain like the amount of fuel that you need for regular operation. And then also obviously whether you're sedentary or not and your daily activity. So having said all of that, as someone who quite literally has a incredibly slower metabolism than someone of my size and especially of my muscle mass, I can tell you that it's still calories in, calories out, but that factor still remains. This is precisely the reason why I eat at a deficit, and my deficit is insanely low in comparison to someone else that would be a 33-year-old man who happens to have my level of my level of daily exercise and is basically doing the same shit. For me to be at a deficit, I need to eat less than 2,000 calories a day on 2 days of the week, and then under 2,400 calories a day for the rest of the week. Okay, that is insane, and I have to do that while maintaining at least 220 grams plus of protein every single day. This is why my diet is the way that it is. This is why I eat a shit ton of grilled chicken breasts. Okay, are you okay while working out? That's crazy. Well, it is what it is. It's just the reality. But my point is, if I can maintain that deficit, which I can, and I do, I have lost all of this weight, right? That's why I'm a much leaner person now. Negative net calories without functional movement leads to atrophy. It's not beneficial even for people dealing with obesity. They're just not losing fat when on GLP-1 drugs. They're losing muscle mass and bone density as well. Yes, that is also true. This is part of the reason why I never even thought about using Ozempic. How do you get that much protein? Because I'm struggling. It's super easy for me. I love chicken. Yes, and you're not wrong. It is 40% of my daily caloric intake is protein. Sometimes more than 40% of my daily caloric intake is protein. And I do have to supplement with other in an effort to make sure that I have enough of the good stuff. Like 2 days ago, it was 45% of my entire daily intake was protein at 260 grams of protein, 42 grams of fat, which is 17%, and then 38% of carbohydrates at 216 grams. So I went way over on my protein consumption on that day. I went over by 38 grams of protein on my protein consumption on that day, and I actually stayed around 2,000 calories for that day. Think about that. So how often do you eat dessert? Every day. I eat dessert every day. I love dessert. You can do all of this within a incredibly low deficit. I do. Didn't Jeff Nibbert say you can't go over your protein? Like there's no limit? Am I wrong? Well, I mean, there's no hard limit. Like there's a bottom. You can't go under a certain level of protein. Everyone's different, but you certainly should not go under a certain level of protein. But if you go way above and beyond, it is what it is. Some days I eat less protein, some days I eat more. So that's why I try to, manage it that way.
You can also modulate food drive with food choices, a little bit more difficult to do, but definitely possible. So it's all the rest, food drive, and then conscientiousness is a trait. It's one of the Ocean Big Five personality traits. Everyone has a little bit, a decent amount, or a lot of conscientiousness on average. And conscientiousness is kind of like, how do you think of you and the world around you? Are you more meticulous and careful and organized? Do you plan ahead? Do you care about your health? Are you willing to delay gratification to do that?
Okay, I wouldn't say this is the most significant factor contributing to obesity as an epidemic, because it would imply that over the years that like America has become less conscientious, or that their elevated genetic food drive has just increased for some reason, because it's not like America was always as obese as it is now. And I would say that the factors are structural way more than it is like down to the person's individual takes.
Not so fun things now, like eat with really good healthy foods you might not want. You want pizza rolls, but you're like, I know that's bad for me, so I'm going to put that off and eat that only occasionally. I'm going to make good choices. I'm going to follow a diet. I'm going to stick to a training plan, et cetera, et cetera. Trait conscientiousness has such a huge effect on that for whatever amount of food drive you have, if you have moderate even food drive, high degree of conscientiousness can keep you free from obesity, because you just stick to the stuff that doesn't make you obese. If your food drive is insanely high, even high degree of conscientiousness can't keep up with that, and it just takes so much energy and so much stress, you might not be able to. You'll still be overweight. If you have low food drive, you're probably not going to be obese in any case, because you just don't eat enough. You guys all have that friend that like has a chip and I was like, I'm good. And you're like, what?
Dude, you don't understand. I can't gain weight. I had like 5,000 calories yesterday. And then you look at what they're eating and it's like, dog, you literally just had one fucking hamburger for lunch. No fries on the side. you literally took off half the shit that was in the hamburger. No bacon on the burger, no avocado slice, no egg on the burger. And you're over here like talking about how many calories you're consuming. No fucking milkshake either. Get the fuck out of here, okay? No, you're not eating enough. That's it. You're just not eating enough. You're not eating enough, and I'm jealous, okay? You're not eating enough, and I'm jealous. I wish I could fucking stop myself. I wish I could have one chip and be done. I wish I could have... The worst is pizza. The worst is pizza. Motherfuckers who can eat 2 slices of pizza and be done with it, I think you are the devil. I think there is something wrong with you, okay? I'm gonna be honest with you. If you can eat 2 slices of pizza and stop eating pizza at that fucking point, I think we are not the same type of organism. We are not living on the same planet. We are not the same type of organism. It's literally fucking cheese and bread, okay? It is the easiest thing to consume. It demands you to eat the entire thing, okay? It's just sitting there. It's gonna get cold. Actually, fuck it. It's even good when it's cold, okay? How have they made such an invention? If you are the type of person who's like, no, I'm good, 2 slices and I'm good. If you could stop at 2 slices and not eat the entire fucking pizza, I don't know how you do that, okay? I don't know how you can stop at 2 slices.
See, I think what people don't really think about on this subject is the fact that there were certain like conditions that people used to live in historically where having a lower metabolism helped you survive. Hey, oh. Yeah, I was just saying, you wait until I actually get on the mic to start yelling at me? Serious? And make me lose my train of thought? Okay, I'm not going to though. There were a certain point in history where having a slow metabolism helped you survive. Slow metabolism basically means you need less food. And in modern society, that's not really, when starvation isn't a problem, it no longer helps you. When scarcity of food is no longer needed, but our development of our productive forces came very quickly, faster than our biology could adapt to the situation. Our biology is still thinking that slow metabolism can help you survive. A little bit. But that's no longer the case. Now it's creating obesity, and that's actually now the #1 killer. So that's just another indication that there is no God. Biology is not perfect. Evolution is amazing and beautifully imperfect. But we should destigmatize the shit and stop blaming people. I mean, for real, come on. There are some people in the world that just eat what they want and not gain a pound. And no one shames them. But if your biology is different, you get the shame. Some people eat a lot, some people don't eat a lot. What the fuck does it matter? Some people don't have to eat a lot to gain weight. People don't realize that. I mean, you have to eat enough. I mean, but like, I'm talking about like people who are like morbidly obese and just drink pop and eat pizza, and just ingest tens of thousands of calories a day. Yeah, that's absurd, and needs some serious psychological and physical attention. But some people just like kind of pack it. They carry it around a little bit. Like I pack it, man.
Recon above.
I mean, yeah, I like breads. I like carbs. But they make me fucking blow up like a balloon. I just want to be stigmatized. Let's just be like, you know, just leave people alone. Alright, peace and love. What am I talking about? I love you.
I'm not even going to bring up the one slice people because I don't even think they're people. You're a fucking lizard. If you can eat one slice of pizza and be done with it, you're a lizard. If you can eat 2 slices of pizza and be done with it, you're fucking weird. Maybe not the same species, but definitely. Maybe you're not an alien. Okay? I don't get it. But that's just me. Don't fucking say discipline. Shut up. That is not discipline. It's magic. Okay? Anyone that says, oh, it's discipline, shut the fuck up. Okay? That is not discipline. It is an entirely separate thing. I do not want to hear that this is some really good, you know, this is something that you worked hard to achieve. Like, fuck you. No, you didn't. You did not work hard to achieve that. Okay? You did not work hard to achieve that. It's privilege and you should know it. Yeah, the type of people that eat like, the type of people whose home you go to and they got the same bag of chips for a week. What are you doing? How is that possible? You know when sometimes you get a order of chips and they send you those little clips? What's that for? For the longest time, I didn't even understand it. What do you mean? A clip? What am I supposed to do with this? Am I supposed to eat the fucking clip? Why are you giving me a clip? If I open a bag of chips, I'm gonna eat the fucking bag of chips. That's what it's for. What the fuck do you mean there's a clip? What is that? Who is that for? I don't understand it. Who is eating a bag of chips not to completion and going, that's enough for me, gotta clip it? I'll take it one step further. There's those like fucking weird TikTok ads that come up sometimes where it's not even a clip. It's a way to like cut the bag of chips and then automatically reclose it. And it's like, who is having this big of a problem not completing a fucking bag of chips that they had to go out and purchase a goddamn thing that they found on the TikTok shop to cut the bag of chips to like cut it and then reclose it? It does not make any fucking sense. Anyway, let's get back to Dr. Mike Israetel.
How do you have just one? That's just what they were born into. But if you have relatively low conscientiousness, like you're kind of just YOLOing your whole life, and you have a high food drive, which means like you like to eat a lot of really tasty foods and a lot of them. And in our current environment in the entire modern world, ubiquitously available, convenient, super delicious food that is high in calories, you have low conscientiousness and high food drive, you're almost certainly going to be obese. And that right there describes the entire reason approximately for why anyone of a given person is or isn't obese. It's a combination of some other factors which are important, and then massive contributor of food drive, massive contributor of conscientiousness to modify how you express that food drive. That's really the big thing. And I'll talk about it a little bit.
My fiance keeps unfinished bags of chips for 3 to 4 weeks. You don't have a fiance. You have an alien invader. Okay, I'm sorry to break it to you, chatter. That is a different species, okay, that came here to planet Earth to basically take over. You know, good luck, okay? Your fiance, your future wife, is not a human being, but a fucking alien. If you can keep a bag of chips for 3 to 4 weeks, I don't think we are living on the same planet, okay? You came from a different planet on a fucking spaceship. That's insane.
Bit why obesity used to be, with roughly similar degrees of conscientiousness and similar degrees of food drive, why generations ago obesity was hardly ever a problem. I'll just say it now. It's because over time, people, on average, have gotten so much wealthier, especially poorer people. The bottom fifth of all the poorest Americans in any 5-year time span have been getting wealthier on average compared to all the products and services they could buy. Used to be in the 1950s that if you were bottom 20% of poor America, there's lots of convenient, fun foods at the store that you really could not afford. And so you just didn't consume them, and you just did not develop obesity because you could either consume them hardly at all or certainly in enough quantity to make you obese. Nowadays, in the 2020s, our poorest people in the United States.
No, I don't agree with this. That's not true. There's definitely still shit food that was easily accessible and consumable. Maybe not to the same degree. Like maybe there wasn't the same diversity of choice as exists now, but there was still plenty of calorically dense food that you could easily consume. That you could easily consume in the 50s as well, regardless of your financial status. He's not saying that poor people are wealthier. He's technically saying that, like, even if you're a poorer person in the United States of America in 2025, you have access to like goods and commodities now that a rich person had access to in the 50s only, which to a certain degree is correct, but it doesn't matter because like high calorie food was still pervasive even back then. Like food in the 50s was ass, bruh. I mean, you're not wrong, but that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about fucking food taste. We're talking about batters. Do you think that healthy food tastes bad and bad food, like, unhealthy food tastes good, and that's why people get fat? Are you stupid? It has everything to do with caloric density. Okay? It's just calories. Okay? That's it. It's calories. More people were rural back then. You didn't have access to 9 different fast food chains within a mile. The proliferation of unhealthy food started in the 50s. Fast food was not a thing then. So yeah, food quality was way better. I would go so far as to say it wasn't that it was like more expensive. I think that it was, I don't know if it was like access to higher calorically dense food was like it really opened up the floodgates. I'm sure that played a role in it, obviously, because food processing and the production of food has significantly improved since then. But once again, why not look at all of these other countries that also had the same exact technological advancements? Why have they not been impacted in the same way? Do you see what I'm saying? Other countries fat too? Yes, everyone has gotten fatter. This is true. Having said that, however, there are obviously countries that are spectacularly fat versus countries that are nowhere near as fat. And I don't think it's because of control. I don't think it's because of self-control at all.
States and many other countries around the world, even in Mexico, which used to be a poor country 20, 30 years ago, but now is a very middle-income country. In those kinds of situations, people now, even the poorest people, have so much money and food costs relatively so little that they can afford to buy, for the first time ever, increasing numbers.
I mean, food costs relatively little. I mean, that's like, if that's the case, like literally every Japanese person would be obese. Every Chinese person would be obese. Food is insanely cheap and insanely affordable in both Japan and China and many other Asian countries. In comparison, especially to America, right? And in America, food is very cheap too, still, all things considered, regardless of the egg prices right now. He's absolutely completely wrong about the conscientious being the primary driver. This is very complicated phenotype driven by a huge range of psych factors and biofactors. You're right on calories and calories out, sort of, but there are many things about what you eat, how it's absorbed, and how it changes things internally that impact your basal metabolism as well. Bad food is cheap. Fresh food is not inexpensive. No, man, bad food got infinitely more available and less expensive in the past 50 years. Didn't you buy $1 million melon? No, it was $100 and it wasn't that good. I think the problem in Mexico is also walkability. Food is affordable, but kids don't walk just because it's not safe. My parents drove me everywhere and I wasn't allowed on the street until I was 15.
Junk food. For lack of any better term, junk food. And that's what's making us fat. So that really is almost the entire determining factor for why obesity has been rising. I'll get into that more. Let's see what RFK has to say here.
Today, 3/4 of American adults are obese or overweight, including 40% of American teenagers.
That's roughly accurate.
Back when I was growing up, childhood obesity was almost unheard of.
There's just a very simple reason for that. People didn't have enough money to indulge convenient, super highly palatable, super calorie dense, delicious foods. And those foods were neither as cheap, relatively, even for how much money people had, nor were they as ubiquitously available. There just wasn't a place to go in the 1940s where you could reliably get all the junk food you wanted right away in 50 different varieties. Like the modern grocery store is goated, it's undefeated. You just didn't used to have that kind of thing, and it was more expensive, and people had less money. Those three factors, people had less money, shit was more expensive, and way less available ubiquitously, is really the reason fundamentally why obesity was lower back then and more now. And I want to say this now because it sets the tone for the rest of the video. The reason lots of people are obese is from overeating junk food. Guys, that's it. Okay, all the other candidate hypotheses he's going to throw out are almost certainly going to be either exaggerated or false. That's it. Now, does that mean we blame people? Blame is a weird concept. Do people have some responsibility for what goes into their mouth? Yeah. Does that mean they're infinitely powerful against the really high food drive or the availability of tasty foods everywhere? No. People are flawed. But it's okay to say, look, part of this is on you, part of this is on other stuff, but this is really what it is. And the real core variable is you just eating too much BS and super tasty foods that have tons of calories in them, and you just, from that. That really is why obesity happens. I'm not coming at this from a right-wing or a left-wing perspective. This is just base reality. And we have to work with base reality if we're going to have some good solutions. He does propose some stuff. Some of it's not great stuff because it's not.
My mom also has been making this new thing. With, I think she saw it on like Instagram Reels or something. I don't know where she fucking found this, but it's a cottage cheese and like 2-egg muffin style situation that she makes. It's like super high in protein. And I put some peanut butter and some jelly on it, and it's decadent. Or it's like she makes a cottage cheese bread, and it's really good. No, I don't use protein peanut butter. I use regular peanut butter. I'm not that crazy.
Dealing with base reality. Just real quick, is it true as a rule that processed foods are worse? It's true on average, but not as a rule. Why? There are different ways to process foods, and the eventual food is really the arbiter of is it good for you, bad for you, or somewhere in between. The processing itself matters. So for example, if you're processing foods by getting way more sugars into them, way more fats into them, way more preservatives into them, and making them ultra, super tasty, so tons of calories and tons of taste enhancement, then that kind of processing will lead people to eat more of the food and get fatter and get into poor health. So that kind of processing, just like most food processing, is not great. There are other kinds of food processing.
He's right about that.
Actually enhance the qualities of foods and get us the foods to be more what we like. For example, if you take milk and you remove the carbohydrates, you remove the fats, and you keep in one of the two proteins, either whey or casein, what you get is a whey or casein protein supplement. And that's very highly processed, but very, very good for your health. And if you're trying to control calories, it's better for your health than whole fat, whole carb milk. So there, it increases the actual value. And you have processing down to a very fine-grained level to accomplish very specific things. For example, one of the supplements that I use pretty consistently is called Element. And we got a code and link in the bio and all that stuff. But what it does is it just jams a crap load of really correct ratios of electrolytes into a little packet. You pour it in to your workout shake, and having more electrolytes lets your workout shake get into your bloodstream faster. It keeps you hydrated and rehydrated better so that you can have better repeat performances during and after the session. And so it's all good all around. Like, Element is insanely processed. It's only processed.
If you eat right, you shouldn't eat supplements? Yeah, that's silly. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let me eat so much fucking red meat that I die early so that I can get a sustainable amount of creatine. No. It don't work that way. What are your subs? I don't take a lot of supplements. I don't even use pre-workout. My pre-workout is a double shot of espresso that I make on the Nespresso machine. Red meat is not inherently unhealthy. It's part of the big picture. What are you talking about? I'm talking about a level of creatine that I take from isolated creatine that would be impossible to consume without actually eating too much red meat. Raw dogging weightlifting is wild. I've been doing it for years, and I do it fasted too for years now. My point is, there are certain supplements that you just need. Okay, especially if you're weightlifting. Other supplements I take are fish oil because I don't eat any seafood, and I need it. And then what else? Like I take like ashwagandha, magnesium. I don't know if they're fucking good or not, but I just take it. Don't really care. And then I have protein shakes, of course. This chatter has not stopped spamming that Dr. Mike's a libertarian capitalist. I know, dude. I know. I don't care. I don't care. Okay? That every single fucking content creator I watch on this broadcast was supposed to be completely aligned with my worldview. Please. Okay? I got it. I know. I don't care. Please stop. Why are you guys like this? It's so strange. Your desired body type isn't just healthy, though. No, I think my desired body type is pretty healthy. What? What are you talking about? I might look to the likes of Sam Sillick with admiration. That doesn't mean I'm trying to get there. Very clearly, I'm not. It's not like I could achieve that anyway, but I'm, I would need definitely some medical enhancement. Yeah, my desired body type is just healthy, athletic, have a lot of functional muscle, which I do. I have it. And lower body fat percentage. Yeah. I think they meant that you want more than just pure health. You want a particular aesthetic. Yes. But to be fair, I like that particular aesthetic that I want is healthy, not like an unhealthy aesthetic.
Process, but because it's all the right salts in combination with a few flavorings, it's super at least neutral for your health. And in the context of enhancing sport performance and promoting hydration, it's actually really great. As long as you're not salt sensitive and you don't have a blood pressure issue, you're good to go. So check out Element. That's a really dope thing to check out. But just as an illustration, not all processed foods are bad, but the processing that's not great is if it's making the food super high in calories, super tasty, and you're not controlling yourself. That's how processed food is bad, and that's a totally valid thing.
Today they tell you that you have obesity like it was some kind of contagious disease. They treat it as if your body malfunctioned, and they give you a shot to control it.
Yeah, he's mad about Ozempic, dude. Like, if RFK Jr. makes Ozempic illegal, I am going to lose my fucking mind. Okay? I am perhaps the greatest advocate of Ozempic, Wegovy, and the like outside of people that actually use it. Okay? You cannot be a dude who takes fucking TRT and weird ass fucking peptides and simultaneously act like Ozempic is bad, you fucking animal. It makes me so, it angers me to no end. Okay? Burada. Dur. Bir dakika veriyorum. Evet. Aferin.
RFK just said they'll give you a shot to control it. The thing is that a ton of high palatability, very delicious foods for very cheap, very conveniently, you apply that to people with any given food drive genetically. And the people with a high food drive, they get real fat. People with average food drive, they gain weight, but they don't get super fat, just a little overweight. The people with low food drive, it basically hardly affects them at all or makes them, actually brings them up to a healthier weight because otherwise they would be like morbidly thin. What are we supposed to do about that? Almost everybody knows you're not supposed to be eating junk food. They do it anyway. They don't care. Guys, we have a gimmick.
I brought 3 months of Ozempic in a moment of weakness for my birthday, and I've just left it sitting in my fridge for a series of reasons, primarily because with RFK leading the Department of Health, I don't want to develop a dependency on it and then have to stop cold turkey. What do you mean a moment of weakness? Why is it a moment of weakness? What the fuck are we doing? Why are we demonizing healthcare? Why are we demonizing medicine? It is not a moment of weakness, okay?
A problem in America. We do not have a knowledge problem in America. And
you don't get addicted to Ozempic chatter? No, I understand what the chatter is afraid of. If your access to Ozempic is cut after you've been using it, you're fucking cooked. That is not a lie. You will not only bounce back on your weight, but you will gain more weight after stopping it. This is true. My parents told me Ozempic paralyzes your stomach or some shit. Is that fake? No, it's not. Stomach paralysis can happen to some people. What if Denmark stops selling it to the US over Greenland? Okay, don't even joke about that shit, bro. That's, oh my God. This country is so fucking cooked. We literally have the capacity to combat one of the most major health epidemics in the United States of America, which is obesity, which is tied to so many other health complications as well. And right at the precipice of this medical discovery, okay, this marvel of modern medicine is right there in the periphery. And it's like entering the American marketplace right now. And then Donald Trump's going to come in and fuck it, dude. Oh my God. Fuck you, motherfucker. Why you talk shit about my country, Georgia? We not state, we proud country. We fuck Turkey up. Georgia, F you, X Russia. Georgia wishes it could fuck Russia over to the same degree as Turkey does on a regular basis, okay? Georgia wishes it had half, not even half, a fraction of the smoke that Turkey delivered to Russia. Literally, okay, American chatters, don't listen to what I'm saying, okay? This is not for you. American chatters, European chatters, this is a periphery of the USSR conversation only, okay? Close your ears. You're not hearing what I'm saying right now. Earmuffs, okay? Georgia wishes it had half of the smoke. New favorite chatter, hope he's as funny as Moldovan Mama Liga. Yeah. Moldova is another country that wishes it had. I own home. I live more better than fat Ameripigs. Okay, that part is true. Facts. Say thank you, Stalin. It's true. He is right, though. Georgia mogs America on home ownership rates, which is the only statistic that they're better than America on, it seems. Also, less obesity, too. Less diabetes, at least. Significantly less diabetes. Ozempic and TRT are morally the same if you want to judge changing the physique, but in regards to the harm they inflict, you can compare. TRT can be much better. Ozempic helps obesity, but at what price? What the fuck are you talking about? TRT can be obviously given to people as medication when you have significantly lower levels of testosterone, that it's unhealthy. But in terms of like the average obese person using Ozempic is infinitely better than a TRT in that vein. What? Ozempic addresses a health issue. TRT makes you fucking brolic if you have normal levels of T. The fuck? I say this is someone who wants to take testosterone, wants to do testosterone replacement therapy eventually if I get to a degree. What? TRT, if done right, is a life changer. Ozempic in regards to harms is worse. No, it's not. You're absolutely wrong about this. Every drug that you take has side effects. TRT is definitely not rid of any side effects. What the fuck? The apt comparison is between the health impacts of Ozempic and obesity, not Ozempic and TRT. Yeah. Having a pro steroids anti-Ozempic chatter is crazy. It's not. You're just describing the fucking RFK Jr. constituency.
Some of these folks, they just kind of want to eat the normal foods that are around, which a lot of them are super delicious, but not have to super rigidly like spend all of the focus controlling them and dealing with hunger pangs. So for those folks, especially ones that have gotten used to a diet of high palatability foods, you give them the shot, Ozempic, tirzepatide, whatever it is you want to do, and they lose weight because now all of a sudden their food drive, their food noise comes down.
Yeah, this part, I don't agree with the initial thing that he was talking about with respect to like people's personal choices are the major reason why obesity is a real problem in America or whatever. But because it is ultimately about food drive, right, which can be impacted by multiple different factors, it is ultimately your capacity to consume food, whether you're an emotional eater or whatever the fuck, right? Like your food drive definitely plays a role in you gaining weight. And if GLP-1 agonists are stopping that food drive for one reason or another, yes, it is going to cause you to eat less food, regardless of your financial situation. And yeah, you're gonna lose weight as a part of that process.
Substantially, psychologically. It's a real effect. And the shot works better than anything we've ever tried outside of surgery. In a statistical application level, it works better than diet and exercise. Now, ideally, the shot is combined with diet and exercise, and then it's a killer.
Yeah.
But even by itself, it works better than just diet and exercise because people can sustain it longer, they don't quit as often, and it has really, really big effects. So until we can get a handle on obesity, and we also know that the average side effect profile of semaglutide, tirzepatide, etc., versus the risk profile of continuing to be obese is probably like a 99-to-1 trade-off of risk-reward, reward to risk, rather. So if someone's like, well, I don't know, the shot has side effects. Do you know what the side effects of obesity are? Let me list every single disease we know that is caused or potentially bad outcomes with obesity. It's not a controversy. So until and unless we get this major problem of obesity under control, take the shot. You don't have to take the shot, but if it's an option, we as politicians and people of public note and people trying to teach each other science should not be poo-pooing the shot in most cases, because you got a solution for me that's going to work. It is not endocrine disrupting chemicals. It's not most of the other stuff that's going to say in the video. The shot is a straight killer. It works. And it works, guys, because it doesn't touch your conscientiousness. It absolutely touches your food drive. And if it reduces your food drive, it makes you lose weight. That's it. That's it. And a lot of the people judging fatter people for needing the shot, they're just the ones that got lucky and got really good food drive genetics and aren't really tempted to eat a lot of snacks. So the shot works, and until we have something that works better, let's not kibosh the shot. On a trade-off, it works exceptionally well.
What they're ignoring is a food supply that's loaded with high fructose corn syrup.
High fructose corn syrup is not any more obesogenic than any other kind of sugar that's been studied. Definitely cane sugar and all that other stuff. It has a slightly higher fraction of fructose.
You guys just don't understand that there are people who can't easily lose weight through just diet and exercise alone. There are other factors, yes, but at the end of the day, okay, here's the reality, okay? If I lock you in a room and I control everything that you eat, even if you don't fucking move, and I give you less calories during that day in this torture experiment, okay, you are going to lose weight. That is the reality. That's it. That's the reality. You don't have to exercise, not even a little bit, okay? This is true. Having said that, those other factors are obviously incredibly important. And I say this as someone who has lost all of this weight and has gained it back in the past as well during COVID and then lost it again, okay? Yeah, it's not an exact science, but if I give you less food than your body needs to, sustain itself, you're gonna fucking lose weight. You're gonna lose a lot of muscle mass. You're gonna lose bone density. Everything's gonna atrophy. It's probably gonna fuck up your psyche, okay? But you're gonna lose weight because that's what it is at the end of the day. But this is a major problem because that is the truth, and yet so many people that recognize that truth will consistently just say, oh, you just stop eating food, fatty. Like, that's an idiotic way to address the problem, okay? This is why I get so sensitive, I guess, about Ozempic in general or Wegovy or whatever, GLP-1 agonists, because it is right now the most effective way of curbing your appetite. Then stop suggesting it. There is never even once in my life that I have suggested that. Okay? You are insane. I have talked about weight loss, eating disorders, weight gain, healthy diets a million times over on this broadcast. Okay? Calories in, calories out is not my suggestion. I'm just addressing the fucking truth. Okay? I hate that people stop legitimizing calories in, calories out. I'm not legitimizing it. It is just the truth. Okay? It is just the truth. Whether you want to recognize it or not, it is the fucking truth of the world. Okay? It is the truth of your body. Having said that, however, no, it's not. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't do this. It's funny because we're having a literal conversation about like a quack, like RFK Jr. And what you're doing right now is literally RFK Jr. shit. Okay? Either you are doing vaccine denialism at this point, okay? You are denying thermodynamics. Stop saying it's oversimplified. It is counterproductive. It's because it's not that simple. And I'm literally addressing why people that say, oh, it's calories in, calories out, stop eating the food, are wrong. That's from my own personal experience as well. Okay, so shut the fuck up. Just don't use the phrase. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your fucking eating disordered ass is getting triggered when I say a fact about basic human body dynamics, okay? I'm not gonna fucking respond to you any further. Jesus Christ. Be normal. Holy shit. Calories in, calories out is correct, but the factors that stop people from eating or what kind of choices they're making, or even all of the many different ways in which you actually burn more calories throughout the fucking day through a less sedentary lifestyle, like if you are not living in a car-reliant infrastructure, is, Hassan, you literally have an eating disorder? Okay, sure, I do, okay? All of these other factors are so consequential, which is precisely the reason why America has a unique problem with obesity in comparison to other countries, okay? That's it. That's why, yes, if you were to lock someone in a room and feed them a certain amount of food and maintain a caloric deficit every single day, they would inevitably lose weight no matter what. Even if they didn't work out, they would lose weight. It just depends on how severe the caloric deficit is at that point. It would be incredibly unhealthy, however. Okay? This is why Ozempic is good, and by my estimation. It's good because it basically forces your brain somehow to not eat as much. Ignoring the shadows, I kept a weight loss journal and set my caloric deficit to 1,500 calories. And in the span of 2 months, I got down to 207. I'm lazy as hell, so I lost all this weight just chilling and doing normal shit. No exercise. Your diet is extremely crucial to your weight loss. Yes, you cannot outwork your diet in normal circumstances. You could outwork your diet, but you'd have to do insane levels of fucking exercise.
Than regular normal table sugar does. And it seems to not affect a whole lot of anything. It is subsidized, so it's cheaper than normal, which we'll come back to in a bit. It is a little bit of a problem, but a very small problem, because again, nobody's stuffing high fructose corn syrup down your gullet. Any one of you can go to the store right now and buy exclusively fruits, veggies, whole grains, canned beans, canned veggies of all kinds, reduced fat meats, and eat for super cheap, very high quality diet. It's not going to be the tastiest thing in the world. It's not going to be obesogenic. You're almost certainly not going to gain weight off it. You'll probably lose weight. So there's no one pushing corn syrup onto you. They just put it into a bunch of snack foods that are really cheap that you're buying. You're not the victim here, folks. It's your work.
No, I think that absolutely is wrong. You are the victim. Okay? Saying that it's simple impulse control and just like put it aside is crazy. Especially because it's in everything. And a responsible government is supposed to ensure that it's not in everything. Okay? If they put fucking crack cocaine in all of the meat tomorrow, okay, and everyone became fucking crack addicts, we wouldn't be like, oh, well, it's your fault. Don't eat the fucking crack meat, okay? You'd be like, no, that's crazy. The government's putting crack in the meat. Please stop, government. What the fuck? Look no further than the opioid epidemic in this country, right? The opioid epidemic is a decent analog. The government did not regulate these drugs that were highly addictive. The people that were developing these drugs basically set up an entire process where they could mass produce it and farm it out as aggressively as possible, okay? And look where we're at now. An entire marketplace, a massive, robust marketplace filled to the brim with people who are addicted to opiates and desperately looking for more. That is the fault of the government. That is a systemic problem. And I see corn syrup and not even just corn syrup, but just like the regular, readily available, highly calorically dense food that is delicious and tasty to be in the same vein. This government is completely captive and completely servile to corporate interests, and that is the reason why American diets are the way that they are, and that a decent amount of regulation is an absolute necessity if we were to genuinely improve American health across the board. It should, I unironically think it should be like virtually impossible to like, if not illegal, basically impossible to sell and consume like a Baskin Robbins milkshake. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, a lot of Americans would probably kill me at the thought, but like if you as a food provider are making a 4,000 calorie milkshake, you should be going to jail. Okay? If you make a 4,000 calorie milkshake, like you are actively trying to kill people. I will treat you like a serial killer. It's fucking insane. And I say this as someone who has consumed a decent amount of milkshakes in my life, okay? It is fucking crazy. It's so tasty. It's so delicious. It is the absolute worst thing. Literally, shut up, Hassan. This is wrong. You're wrong. Bro, shut the fuck up. This is your stupidest opinion I've ever heard. Wait, what? What is... He's like, nah, dude, I want a fucking 4,000 calorie milkshake. Shut the fuck up. If you come after, I'm Mr. Robbins of the Baskin Robbins franchise. If you come after my fucking, if you come after my wares, I will kill you. I'm sending a drone strike to your house. Anyway, milkshake defenders, Americans, dude. It's like, don't touch the burger. Americans, when you come after Burger Shake,